Hello, everybody. I think I'm about ready to get started. Welcome, Calvisham, Nate the Great, and RJ Chaos. So, let's chat a little before we dive into the game. So, Radical Dreamers, I know very, very, very little about. I'll tell you what I do know. It came out in, I believe, 1996. It was originally seen as a way to potentially follow up to Chrono Trigger. However, there were some, I'm not going to call them issues necessarily, but there were some feelings that things were still not left completed the way it was originally intended. So they ended up doing another game called Chrono Cross, which we'll do to kind of close out this particular series. However, in between Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross, they decided to do a text-based adventure game that came out on the SNES. Now, it has not been translated officially until like literally about a year and a half ago. It originally had a fan translation going on. We're going to try the official translation and see how things go. I will be playing with a map because I'm going to be honest with you, chat. If you know anything about the older... Oh, thank you, Remote Battery. If you know anything about the older text-based adventures, they're going to expect you to memorize every single spot. I really don't want to wander around aimlessly, so I will try not to otherwise spoil anything for myself. I don't know what the plot of the game will be. I did view the first 5 minutes of the game to get an idea of what to expect. So it's going to be interesting. From what I could gather, we have to make multiple decisions, including in combat, in order to raise the opinion of one of the other party members. And allegedly that influences an ending of the game. So I have little cliff notes if I want to follow them. I don't know if I will, but I have them on the side in case I want to go for any particular ending. But we'll be playing through, I think, just once. I'm not a huge fan of like the old text crawler, which is what this is going to be. So we'll see if I end up leaning on that or not in the playthrough. And I will try to let you know if I'm looking at something rather than just guessing my way through. There's a very light order of things that I will probably be proceeding in. And maybe that's good enough. Maybe I'll figure it out on my own. But anyway, chat, wish me luck because it's going to be pretty much me talking for about 3 hours. Because it has no voice acting. It is a old game. So let's go ahead and pause that and let's go ahead and launch the other game. Welcome to Parameter, hope you're doing well. Let's go ahead and jump into things. There you go, you got an extra shout out. Go chat, presented by Radical Dreamers 1996. It all began with a notebook my mother handed me. She told me she found it while cleaning out the closet. This old notebook, covered with mold, was a diary that belonged to my grandfather, who passed away years ago. It contained his distant memories. I wonder if you still remember how we first met and our many adventures. It all seemed like a dream. We ran like the wind during those warm summer days, long ago. You were a piece of star that fell from the sky. I'm sorry, what? Wait, you can't just drop the, oh, by the way, you're a child of the heavens. Just, okay. I can still relive the memory of those days long past. Just by closing my eyes so, and whispering your name into the desolate night. Kid. Oh no, they're going with that name. Kid. I'm not gonna lie, chat. They probably could have named the kid character something else. I'm just saying. That they are not saying that, like, my child. No, their child is literally called Kid, which is really awkward when you think about it. Kid. Hey, Kid. Are you ready, kid? Bunch of Buttakitters, exactly. No, you're anxious, but stay on your toes. Yeah, likewise, mate. You mess up and I'm leaving you behind. Got that, Surge? So I played a little bit of Chrono Cross, so I'm seeing some similarities in the names. Yeah, Kid is probably going to be either 16 or 17 if it's similar to other elements, but we'll see. Come on, Majil. That jerk Lynx is going to get what he deserves. Say your prayers, not that it'll do you any good. So here's what we learned. Kid is psychotic. She just goes into the house. There we go, chat. So I believe you are going to be given a chance to name our protagonist. Radical Dreamers, Le Tresson Interdit, or however that is pronounced, 2022, when the translation came out. We'll ignore my very brief test of the game. Not sure I really care about the fonts. That's one thing that always kind of bothered me, chat. I'm not a big fan of, like, the remaster's text. And that extends to all things Square Enix. So I'm not being hard on this. I'm just saying they really needed to pick better fonts on every single one of the remasters. But we'll stomach it for now, I suppose. So we're given a hint as to the controls. So I have sound adjustments with my back triggers. I can go into an escape menu, whatever that does. We have auto text for the many text segments we're going to be reading today. And then I could change selection as I make a choice. And I can enter a menu by hitting Y at any time. Controls can be redefined by selecting the key bindings option from the escape menu. Good to know, I guess. Oh boy. Well, chat, we get to name ourselves. Currently, we are Surge. Oh, if I hit the cancel button, I can change things. I don't think I really want anything different than what I had before. Yeah, our audio option is just volume. That makes sense. Wait, so how do you cancel text? Or is this just a hint? Anyway, chat, what would you like to name ourselves? So we are taking the male protagonist role, indeterminate age, unknown relationship to the other characters. And we will be meeting up with Majil and Kid. So there you go, chat. Who is brave enough to give us an answer? Well, that reminds me. So it said this and this was menu? No. You want to name the character Phil? Okay, so it does just delete it if you don't press anything. Okay, that's what I wanted to verify. Also, I don't think they really thought that through, unless my PSO controls are on. 1 second, chat. I just want to make sure. Okay, there we go. Disable that. I was getting some weird double inputs there. That time it was a setup issue. Well, if chat has no other names, I will just name the character Phil. I almost feel like calling the character Filler. But spelled with Phil, P-H-I-L. Oh, chat likes that? Nice, nice. Alright, we're Filler. Filero. No, I think we're good. Although I can just put nonsense. I love that there's an upside down question mark. You know what? I love. I'm just gonna do the upside down exclamation mark. Oh, that's actually the max number of letters. Hmm. Not feeling the other characters. If we had more letters, I would have encapsulated our name with the upside down question mark, and then right side up question mark. I'll leave it as is. This old lady's tip-off was right on the money. Counterspell and the barrier around the outer walls could have done a real number on us. Also, you know it's a good sign, chat, when you have no idea who's speaking. They've introduced 3 characters. I'm gonna guess by, like, the accent whether or not it's the girl, but I don't know how the other 2 speak. Kids... Okay, so now it tells us. Kids playing on adorned braid flick back and forth across her shoulders as she walked. We picked our way through the elaborate lattice of the manor's magic shields, moving in closer and closer to Lord Lynx's stronghold. There were 3 of us. Kid, Majeel, and me. There we go. Me is on the job, chat. Guess it must have been 3 years already since I first met Kid. Back then I was just a wandering musician. Wandering musician? What? Traveling wherever my feet would take me. Wherever a few tunes would pay for a warm bed. I'm guessing that's us in the middle. I'm pretty sure it's Majeel behind us. It was in the Outlands. In a town called Rajoria, where we first ran across one another. And since then, she dragged me along on a whole bunch of adventures. And misadventures, too. Ah, Kid. Chat, if we ever get a chance to rename these characters, I feel like calling her Kidder. She was a thief. Not just any thief. Just a few months shy of 17. Okay, that's about what I thought. And already renowned as one of the realm's greatest. What's more, she was achingly beautiful, stylish, a joy to be around. Whoa, whoa. Cool down there, filler. We're just introducing characters. And a dab hand at campsite cooking. Or so she liked to claim. Truth was a little different. Those bandits with hearts of gold you've heard about in stories, the ones who steal from the rich to give to the poor, yeah, that wasn't Kid style. She was short-tempered, prone to lying, bossy, and obsessed with money. Wait, and you like this character? Right, chat? This is not reflecting well on her own character, I'm not gonna lie. And rarely did she care to listen to a single word anyone said to her. Okay. But she wasn't all bad. Probably. Maybe. Sometimes. She had her moments anyway. Wow. Maybe we should have renamed ourselves Simp. I don't know, chat. This is not like, this is a character that likes her, and this is how he describes her. Like, that is so bad. I glanced over my shoulder to see a shadow hovering behind us, blending into the darkness like smoke. Majeel, also known as Majeel the Shade. He was Kid's partner, but even after 3 years, I hardly knew anything about him. Well, try talking to him. All I knew is he was around 30 years old. Wait, why is there a 30-year-old traveling around with a 17-year-old? And not much of a talker. He was one heck of a mage. Oh no, that's inappropriate parameter. Heard that he and Kid had started working together way before I met her. He always covered the top half of his face with a mask. Never seen what he looked like underneath. He was a man so mysterious that it sometimes seemed like he was an interloper from another world. Is he related to Magus? Is this what we're hinting at? Wasn't like Kid was exactly big on the details of her past, but Majeel might as well has not had one. He didn't seem to know much about her partner in crime either. What kind of man he was, what kind of life he'd lived before. Nothing. You might ask exactly how I wound up being part of this merry band. Well, it's complicated. Guess you could say life doesn't always turn out the way you think it will. I feel like that was almost like that meme where it was like, you might be wondering how I got here. It was pretty close. Kid, who was heading up our little raiding party, suddenly stopped dead. Look lively, boys. We got company. He glanced around warily as cold, cruel eyes emerged from the darkness. Oh, they just found Twitch chat. It'll be fine. Heard a low growl. Dark shadows prowled through the night, surrounding us. A pack of wildcats. There must have been about 10 of them. Even though I see about 6. There must have been about... a thrill of fear ran down my spine. A thrill of fear? Okay. Flustered, I pulled my knife from my belt. Kid calmly shifted into a fighting stance. Watch yourselves. I don't reckon those buggers been treated for rabies. Wildcats snarled and growled as they slowly closed in on us, drawing the noose tighter and tighter. Their eyes glinted in the darkness like fireflies, and strings of eager spittle dripped down wetly to the ground. Ew. Time to wipe their mouths. And one of them sent an almighty roar, soaring to the moon, and the hunt was on. Oh, chat, oh no. What was I going to do? I love that's how it phrases everything. Oops. Think fast. Kid dived in the thick of pack wildcats and gave the largest of their number an almighty kick in the chops. The startled beast gave a yelp as it was sent flying. I turned to my right to see that a nearby wildcat was charging toward me, its head lowering menacingly. Wait, was I timed out there? Oh, that's annoying. Panicked, I tried to make a last-second dodge, but I wasn't quite fast enough. Oh, that's kind of annoying. I think it auto-selected for me, chat. Hold on. I think we restart, to be honest with you. Give me 1 second. No. I did not realize there was a timer. 1 moment. Redo. I'm like, that's good to know and also kind of annoying. Yeah, why did you put a timer in your text-based game? Because I didn't press anything and it did not do the action that I highlighted either. Disappointed in you, game. So that is kind of annoying. Good to know. But kind of annoying, because I definitely did not press a confirm button and it just went onwards. So I have to think fairly quickly, I guess. Which does prove a little bit of an issue when you're attempting to stream it, but that's fine. So I guess what I want to do is attack. I don't think it's ever a really great idea to defend, unless we're given like a shield or something. We're just gonna nod our heads here. Okay, so I can save the game at any time, so I think I want to do that. Okay. I've learned how to go to save our game. Alright, chat, that'll help a little bit. In case things go poorly. Anyway, I think what we're gonna do is attack, and we'll see where things go. Oh, you can also do it that way. Okay. See, I'm experimenting with controls since we're going through this. Things will go fine shortly. Welcome, Diego. Hope you're doing well. So sadly, we got to sit through some of the dialogue again. Apologies. Did not realize it was timer. I didn't see a timer on screen, but it definitely just did whatever it wanted. Doing good. Hope the same for you. It's been okay. So this time, let's actually attack and not just stand there like an idiot. I attacked. I slashed at a nearby wildcat with my knife. There we go. That's what I was kind of expecting to happen. The beast tried to leap clear, but I was already too close. Felt the blade make contact and was rewarded with a screech of pain. Wildcat jumped away, this time managing to put some space between us. Looked like I didn't cut it very deeply. Stood my ground, changing my grip on the knife and waiting for another chance to attack. Fiddler, behind you! Panicked by Kid's warning, I whirled around wildly. Came face to face with a pair of eyes blazing like hellfire. I'm gonna say I attacked again. Wildcat was coming right at me. Oh wait, can I just save at any time? Oh no, okay. It won't let me save in combat. We gotta check those things, chat. We have to check those things. Wildcat was coming right at me. By reflex, I ducked. Its attack swiping through the air directly over my head. Okay, so this time I didn't get hit. So it looks like our options do matter. I don't know how to check our HP, or if we just have to kind of assume if we take too much damage, we die. So that'll be fun. I felt its hot breath on my cheek as it flew past me. At the same time, I thrust my knife upwards, plunging it into the beast's belly. The horrible cry of agony, the wildcat crashed face first into the ground. But I lost my balance in the chaos and fell down in a heap as well. I rolled over and was only able to stagger back to my feet before readying myself for my next opponent. I was breathing heavily. The handle of my knife was slick with sweat, and I tightened my grip. I kicked like a lightning bolt. It landed a clean hit on the flank of a nearby wildcat. It staggered before losing its footing, letting out a pathetic cry. The kid had already moved in to finish it off. And then a roar of fire. A burning smell filled my nostrils, and next to me, a shrill screech pierced the air. Jill's fire spell engulfed the head of a nearby wildcat. It fled, darting off into the darkness like an arrow. Oh, that's it? I scanned the area. Only moments ago we had been surrounded, but now there wasn't a single wildcat left. I guess if you half their numbers, they flee. Kid and Bajil had either sent the rest off with their tails between their legs or put them... Wait, what? Or put paid to them once and for all? Wait, what? Is that a phrase I'm just not familiar with? Why does that not make sense to me? Or put paid to them once and for all. Is that like a saying that I just don't know? I don't think I've ever heard it phrased that way. Interesting. It's gonna put a question mark there for me. Put paid to them. It almost sounds like a UK phrase. Huh, you're dreaming if you think a pack of flea-bitten mogies? Mogies. It's gonna stop us, Lynx. Kid crossed her arms and flashed a triumphant grin. Mogies. Okay. Meanwhile, I was panting heavily, and it felt like my legs were about to give out from under me. Wow, we are so pathetic. Why are we here? We faced one challenge, and our character's like, I'm gonna pass out. Like, I don't think we should be here, chat. I'm just saying, like, they're like level 5, maybe level 3. We're like legit level 1. I collapsed to my knees, overwhelmed by what I'd just been through. Phew. I'd taken a few hits, but I was otherwise fine. A couple of scars to talk about later, maybe, but nothing that would stop me carrying on. Are you hurt? Egill looked down at me, his face expressionless as ever. No worries, Mag, he'll be alright, said Kid, barging in to get a better look at me. Maybe you may be a whinging sook? Oh boy, chat, we're going with all sorts of interesting phrases here. But it'll take more than a few scratches to kill this one. I'm going to assume this is just... this has to be like British slang. I'm telling you, chat, when you see stuff like this, I'm like, there's no way. This is not a US natural language. I'm just like looking like nobody calls anybody a sook, and let alone a whinging sook. So if I had to guess what it is, I imagine it would be coward. I imagine she's calling us a coward here. I didn't think I would have to keep a dictionary open for slang, but here we are, chat. She was nothing if not sympathetic. Real? Oh, that's not my takeaway from that comment. But she was right. There's no time to be bemoaning my lot. I didn't even reach the manor yet. I dabbed at my wounds with a tincture-soaked cloth and wrapped them with bandages, then looked up at the other two. I could say, sorry I'm out, you have to carry on without me. We're so lame. We're saying we're just getting started, so that's terrible. We're just getting started, I grinned back, putting on a brave face of things. That's what I like to hear, Kid cheerily announced from close quarters. Then her eyes turned cold, like the cool glow of the moon in the night sky. It's gonna be a long night. I nodded, trying my hardest not to utterly lose myself in her pale blue eyes. Oh, God. Right, chat? All right, let's get the show back on the road. She turned away and marched off deeper into the trees without looking behind her to see if me and Egill were following her. Oh no, chat, we already got our first bot. Filler's already lost cause. We're like not even 10 minutes in. We're like... we can barely fight like the standard enemy outside the mansion, and we are being called basically a coward. And we are simping so hard. It's kind of embarrassing, honestly. Egill, of course, was already right behind her, his unhurried gait making it seem as though nothing much had happened at all. Yes, nothing did happen. You fought one enemy. Jumped back on my feet to chase after them. I'd be even more trouble than I bargained for if I got separated from them. Okay, I'm gonna try to not pick the coward options. I imagine that will make her not like us. The dark forest inside the manor's perimeter seemed to go on forever, a labyrinth of trees and boulders. The manor itself loomed in the distance, glowering over the vast grounds. Hidden within was a veritable mountain of treasure just waiting for us. Lord Lynx was the noble who ruled the remote territory of Rajoria. He's also Kid's mortal enemy. We were there that night to steal a certain jewel he kept locked away in his mostly guarded vault. The Frozen Flame. Oh, okay. Interesting. I will not make any comments for people that have seen Chrono Cross, but I find this very interesting. The Frozen Flame was veiled in mystery. It was said to be imbued with uncanny energy, possessed of a beauty and clarity that made it a priceless treasure. Countless thieves had tried to steal it, and not one of them had come close to succeeding. Nor had any of them escaped the manor alive. Now it was our turn to try and sneak into this place of death. Led by a girl who had the ambition to make the impossible possible, a hunger for vengeance that drove her onwards, and a desire for riches that could never be satisfied. As we pressed on through the tree-filled darkness, the shadows gave way at last, revealing the true extent of the vast mansion. Ooh, there we go, chat. Panning shot. Finally, say your prayers, Lynx, because we're coming for you. Keeping to the overgrowth in the shadows of the tree, made our way around the manor walls in search of a means of entry. Eventually, we came to a terrace overlooking the garden. There's no sign of any guards nearby. The only thing surrounding the manor was an uncanny stillness. This will lead us straight into the West Wing. Just as well. Don't have any business in the rest of the manor tonight, said Majil, gazing up at the dark building towering over us in the night. Alright then, what are we waiting for? With that, Kid made to vault over the railing of the terrace. Stop, Majil hissed sharply. Remember what we're here for. Our main target is the vault, and the frozen flame within it. We focus on this above all else. Your vengeance is of secondary concern. Agreed? Glancing over her shoulder, Kid replied with a reluctant, Yeah, don't get your knickers in a twist. I'm laughing because I saw a word that I do recognize. That is something else. I guess she's supposed to be Australian? I don't know anybody else that uses this word. But if we happen to run into him, I'm gonna knock that Drongo's block off, and neither you or anybody else is gonna stop me. I mean, Drongo, I'm pretty sure means stupid / slow-witted, to be honest with you. And that is definitely Australian slang. So I guess we've narrowed it down a little bit more. I was thinking UK, and I guess I wasn't super far off if she's using semi-British slang. I guess Kid was gonna get her way whether we liked it or not. She sounds so unlikable. This is crazy, chat. Okay, it's like, listen, I can rag on our male character, but we gotta rag on her too. This is something else. Let's go, boys. The night is young. She cleared the railing with a sprightly hop and vanished inside the manor. I glanced toward Majil and nodded in silence. We followed Kid's lead, and we were soon inside Lord Lynx's lair. The darkness swallowed us whole. Corridor stretched off to the left, and we decided... off to the left and right from the terrace. It seemed equally dark and chilly in both directions. Okay, I'm definitely gonna save. Second. There we go. Alright, it doesn't respond to mouse control, that's fine. I was just curious. Okay, so I have my little map open, because I am not going to memorize this map as we go through, so let's go to the left first. Pressed on through the darkness, down corridors that turned and twisted, snake-like this way and that. Everything around us was still and silent, and it felt strangely like we're being watched. It was as if countless eyes were staring silently from the shadows, looking on with curiosity and pity. We continued creeping cautiously down the corridors. Kid moved proudly and stealthily like a cat stalking its prey, while in the shadows, Majil followed, gliding swiftly and silently like a sinister breeze. We pressed on into the embrace of the Weaver of Fate. Also, I don't know why that text was auto-advancing. That was kind of annoying. Also, sinister breeze is very Magus. We took the corridor leading from the left-hand side of the terrace, eventually arriving at an intersection with some stairs. The path to the right led down the stairs. The path to the left was a dark side passage, and the main corridor continued straight onwards. I think chat can see why I have a map. I'm like, listen, I'm willing to do some things on my own, but draw a map bit by bit. That is an era of gaming I do not miss. Just be real clear with you. All right, let's, I guess, continue down the stairs for now. Based off of what I'm looking at the map. Slowly we crept down the staircase, descending deeper into the blackness as we went. At the bottom, the path split. The way to the left continued on to an atrium that resembled a sort of plaza, while the path to the right was a winding passage that trailed off into the darkness. Okay. I think I want to go to the right here. Went down the stairs, then took the passage to our right. Eventually, we came across an ornate door on the right-hand side. Something smelled fresh and pleasant. Flowers? Was it coming from inside? Yeah, let's go inside. We found ourselves in a tidy, welcoming room. The knickknacks and curios dotted around the place seemed to be well loved. The stately desk and the cozy-looking bed nearby, meanwhile, suggested the room's occupant was no stranger to luxury. Though the room was richly furnished, somehow it still felt awfully lonely. It took a quick look around before commenting. It's Lynx's girl's room. Half-written letter on the desk and a teacup still warm suggested the lady of the manor was still nearby. Okay. It didn't seem like anybody was here now. We decided to search the room. Like our characters in the mirror. Some charming flowers, a discarded cotton handkerchief, small bottle of perfume. I think that meant much to me. Nor anything that seemed particularly valuable. It seemed to have the same impression and scanned the room clearly, not expecting to find anything. The only thing of note was a small antique box, which bore the crest resembling a viper. I decided where to look next. Before we go in the box, let's take a look at the chest of drawers. Slid open one of the finely veneered drawers. Frills, lace, and sequins greeted me in reds, pinks, yellows, and a host of other vivid colors. A bounty of beautiful silk garments overflowed from within. Dresses, eh? Give us a look. Just about to close the drawer again when Kid came up and started peering over my shoulder. Reached out a hand to touch one of them, though I sensed a certain hesitation. I've never worn anything this posh in my life. In my life? Oh my gosh, what is this accent? The gown she picked out was cut simply but beautifully. It was decorated with a pale floral pattern on a white background. She held it up to her chest and took a gentle twirl around the room. Clearly master thief here, chat. We're like, yes, we gotta look for the sacred vault. Now let's play dress up with other people's clothes. 10 out of 10, chat. She was as light on her feet as a woodland nymph. The fabric fluttered like flower petals. She held the hem just so. In that brief moment, you could have almost called her dainty. I feel like just shaking our head at the protagonist. Stupid thing. Not exactly me, eh? I wouldn't say that. I think it really suits you. Oh, gosh. I almost feel like I need to do a voice with him like, I wouldn't say that. I think it really suits you. I feel like he has that kind of voice. Is it just me, chat? Like, he's so bad. Oh, shut your gob, arse kisser. Her face turned an angry red. Come on. Oh, come on. We ain't got all night. The spell well and truly broken, she stomped out of the room. Suddenly, the darkness felt opaque. Something like a thick haze floated in the air in front of us. Uh-oh, it's not letting me save. And then it took form, like someone blowing smoke into a person-shaped bottle. Unfortunate, I think. Give me 1 second. Okay. It was robed in a ragged shroud, and sunken eyes glittered menacingly. It was the burning hatred that lingers even after death-given form. A being driven by a hatred for all living things. A ghost. Bugger, that's us out. It bit her lip. Wasn't anything she or I could do with an enemy that had no physical body. Voice boomed out behind me. Majil had been gun casting his spell. I'm gonna say I jumped behind Miguel. Because they said we couldn't do anything. If they didn't outright say we couldn't do anything, I would have done something else. Jill cast me a glance, continuing his incantation without missing a beat. Grabbed me by the scruff of the neck and threw me at the ghost? What? I emitted a strangled scream of horror that I'd probably never be able to repeat again. Tried to brace myself before I crashed face first into the wall. The impact I was expecting never came. The core of the ghost, where its face seemed to be, had more substance than the rest of it. I didn't just slip through it like I thought I would. I oozed through it like I was stuck in some kind of goo. Ye gods, it was disgusting. More disgusting than anything I'd ever known. It was impossibly cold. Felt like it was draining all the heat right out of my blood. Like it was draining my life force itself, in fact. I struggled to break free, but I could find no purchase in the gooey ectoplasm. Coldness became more and more intense, and soon I didn't even know what cold meant anymore. This could be it for me, I thought. I was consumed by despair. And then there was a surge of heat through the muscles of my neck in the place where Majil had grabbed me just a moment before. At the same time, his incantation echoed in my mind, my vision filled with a clear blue light. Why did he throw us at it? That's kind of messed up. Filler! Oi, Filler! You still with us, mate? Wow, there we go, chat. Well, if we weren't sure what the accent was now. Someone was slapping me around the face. Someone who seemed to be enjoying it immensely. Kids, stop it, damn you! Leapt to my feet, wide awake. Oh, maybe that was us. Kids, stop it, damn you! Leapt to my feet, wide awake again in an instant. Mag, did you really have to use me like that? When dealing with foes who attack the mind, it is simplest to lure them in with bait, then use their intended prey's consciousness as a conduit in order to make an assault from the astral plane. A direct magical attack would have meant a lengthy battle. A far less elegant solution, he replied without a trace of guilt. Alright, let's keep moving. Kid gave the order to continue, seemingly completely oblivious to my brush with death. Wow, we made some poor life choices. Wait a second, what's that? There's a leather bag on the ground, containing some recently cooked meat. Lucky me, I bit into the meat without a moment's hesitation. After devouring the unexpected windfall, I felt a little better. Oi, where's my share? We are party with psychopaths? We really are, actually. Busted. I pretended not to hear. Wow, we are so lame. Oh no, chat. I just can't, like, is it just me? Like, I just can't picture these characters in, like, the Chrono Trigger universe. We are so lame. And she's so awful. And then, like, maybe the other character is kind of like Magus. But it's like, these are people we allegedly know for years. Like, this is not a good sign. It's doing great. I felt like nothing could stop me. Maybe you ain't such a drongo after all. This goes to show any old weirdo can make something of themselves if they put their mind to it. Kid's eyes glinted with mischief. The passage outside the room continued to our left and right. Path to the right led deeper into the darkness. Okay, so now we're going to save because we survived a random encounter, so that's a good sign. Let me consult the map real quick. I think I want to go to the right. Went down the dark passageway, eventually finding ourselves at a sturdy-looking, immaculately polished door. It sniffed the air. Just as I thought, something stinks here. Reckon we found the beast's lair. Lads. Oh. Nice, nice. In the darkness, Kid's lips twisted into a grin that turned my blood cold. I mean, we were probably gonna go inside. Even though this seems like a bad idea, we should probably still take a look. Kid opened the door and slipped inside. It was Lynx's room, but he didn't seem to be around. The bugger's gone and no, I was gonna say scampered. That's not scampered. And scarpered because he heard I was coming. There's something deeply unpleasant about the room. Is it our party in the room? There wasn't anything unusual about the furniture and fittings, not how they looked or how they were made. But taken as a whole, it all felt discordant. Was this a reflection of Lynx? A seemingly ordinary facade that hid a disturbing truth only some could see? Just some furniture. It's don't read that much into it. Let's see what we could find. The desk drawers, the painting on the wall, the vase on top of the side table. They left no stone unturned. Didn't seem to be anything suspicious. As I scanned the room, something unusual caught my eye. There's a pedestal in one corner with a significant-looking scarlet cloth drawn over it. Is it just a mirror? Slowly raised my hand toward it. Be careful what you touch in here, warned Majil. Pulled my hand back timidly. Then the cloth flipped back with a flutter without me having laid a finger on it. Alright, it is a mirror. Did that thing just move by itself? Exclaimed Kid, her eyes wide open with surprise. Gripped by curiosity, we moved in to see what it had been hiding. The large antique mirror of an elaborately decorated style I'd seen before. It isn't the kind of thing you normally seem out of place in an old manor like this. And yet... Wait, something ain't right, said Kid. Meanwhile, I was captivated by the gaze of the statue of Venus, reflected in the mirror. Wait, hold on. Are you telling me in the Chrono Trigger universe, there's the statue of Venus is a known thing? Interesting. Take that timeline. Suddenly, the eyes of the statue shone with light. What is your desire? It spoke with a voice that was crystal clear, yet smoky and husky. The mirror! It's speaking! I stammered. Ah, a whispering mirror, muttered Majil, as if he'd seen them 1,000 times before. What's one of those? It gave Majil a quizzical glance. A magical mirror in which a spirit dwells. The spirit can freely move between its own and other mirrors, and will share its wisdom with those who ask. Perhaps we should ask it something. Oh no. I already know what one of the options is gonna be. Let's all be real. Our character would totally ask about Kid. It's not even a question in my mind that is one of the options. Dare I ask it though? That is the real question. Dare I ask that? Yeah, we're not asking about Majil. Get out of here. I decided to ask it about something that had been on my mind for some time. No, we're gonna ask about Kid. That's what Simp would do, aka filler. I want to know about Kid's past. Not if you want to leave this place alive, you bloody don't. Kid's face turned red with anger. Your wish is my command, responded the mirror, ignoring Kid, who had grabbed me by the collar, is complaining vociferously. That is not a word I see too often. Like, ooh, flower language. We call those the SAT bluff words. The image in the mirror rippled, and the reflection of the statue shook. Then the mirror surface grew dark. The blackness gave way to a scene in Rajoria. Shadowy figures appeared one by one. There's a young woman surrounded by several children. They were all dirty, their clothes ragged and worn. They all laughed as they played together. And this scene was drowned in flames, and a troop of armed men appeared. I mean, I guess I'm not super surprised that one of the protagonist's homes had burned down. I'm not super surprised, Chad. The men dragged the women away. Or the woman, excuse me. The men dragged the woman away, and the children vanished one by one into the inferno. The focus shifted to one of the children, a girl. She's standing with her back to the flames, her tears leaving tracks through the soot on her face as she howled at the night sky. The girl's right eye was narrow like a cat's. Like a cat's? Stop it! Kid screamed. Image in the mirror grew faint. Kid stared at the ground, her hands balled into tight fists. The room was dominated by silence. Worried about her, I broke the silence. Kid, I'm sorry. I'm leaving. She spun on her heel and made for the door. Wait, I cried and sheepishly darted after her. I kind of wish I saved a little closer to that to maybe see what the other scene was, but oh well. Corridor stretched out beyond the door. We retraced our steps. Eventually, we came to an ornate door on the left-hand side. It was Riddle's room. Did they mention that it was Riddle? I don't think that came up before. Right, chat? How did we learn that? Wait a minute. Question mark. Did I miss something in the dialogue? I'm like, okay. I guess we continue on our way. I don't really want to go back in there. Continue down the corridor until we reach an intersection. Let's go back up the stairs. Passage to the stairway was short. Leading the way, we climbed the staircase, found another intersection. So I'm looking for... I believe it's labeled as the study. We're gonna face the Riddler, apparently, pretty much. So I'm just making sure what I'm doing makes sense with how we're walking there. I think I have to take the side passage to go there. Headed down the side passage. At the end, came to an old, immaculately polished door. Let's go inside. He gently pushed the door ajar and peeked into the room. Next thing I knew, she slipped inside. Majil and I followed. Looks like a study. The room was lit by the moonlight coming through the long, slender windows, slanting down in pale beams through the darkness. Yeah, it's pretty big for a study is an understatement. Look at that window. Wait, how many books are in here? I feel like I'm in that one room in Kingdom Hearts 1. Like, what is this? Welcome, Kirk. The room was lit by the moonlight coming through the long, slender windows, sliding down in pale beams through the darkness. It's pretty big for a study, with an immaculate antique desk dominating the center. There were rows of bookshelves lined with thick, dusty old tomes. The wall to the rear of the room was decorated with paintings, and shelves of vases and painted plates stood before it. Those seemed to be curios from foreign lands. I mean, I see something glowing on the desk. Guess I should check the desk first. Went over to the desk and started searching the drawers. There I found a neatly arranged set of pens, ink bottles, and other writing materials. Nothing interesting, in other words. Okay, I'm gonna save. We haven't died yet, so that's good. A small portrait on the desk caught my eye. It was a picture of a young girl with a gentle smile on her lips. Who was she? That's the girl Lynx adopted. If you ask me, it wasn't because he was looking to help the needy. Who we apparently know is named Riddle, even though no one said it. Anyway, said Kid, peering over my shoulder. She wrinkled her nose in distaste. Not even a looker. Chad, feel free to rag on these characters. You have absolute permission. These characters are very questionable at best. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Oh, we need to hide for sure. It wasn't a loud knock, but in the bottomless silence of the night, might as well have been a thunderclap. And then I stood bolt upright and turned towards it. Majil, meanwhile, hid in the shadows, drifting away like smoke. Okay, so even Majil is hiding. Panicked, I whispered to Kid. Hide behind the door in the shadows. I'm gonna say hide under the desk, because maybe we'll hear them say stuff. Hide under the desk. You what? There's no time. I shoved Kid under the desk and darted under it with her. Yeah, I had a feeling we probably couldn't make it to the door. Also, I'm sure Filler would love being under the desk with her as I roll my eyes. Oof. It was more cramped than I thought it would be. Packed myself in as best I could, but Kid and I found ourselves in an awkward tangle of legs and arms. Slowly, the door opened. Flickering candlelight spread from the doorway with a warm glow. A shadowy figure appeared at the threshold. I tried to pack myself into the space under the desk just a little tighter and stilled my breath. I looked down for a moment and my heart skipped a beat. Kid's lips were right there. Oh, just get... Filler, please, now is not the time. For a moment, everything else seemed to drift away. The pink bow of her mouth was so soft, so perfectly formed. I hope we get slapped. I hope we actually just get slapped. Suddenly, my heart was beating so loud I thought my chest would burst. I turned my eyes away and squeezed them tightly shut. It seemed whoever it was didn't mean to come in. They simply stood there. Strange. Thought I heard something. The Lord of the Manor is away, of course. Why would there be anyone in here? I have to get over my nerves. Everything was fine I have to get over my nerves. Everything was fine until we heard the news that Poor was on the move. Poor is on the move? Okay, that was a town in Chrono Trigger. I don't know what that has in context with what we are, but sure. Survive now, horny later, says Kirk. Yeah, pretty much. The figure quietly closed the door, plunging the room back into darkness. The voice trailed off to a whisper. Remained motionless, keeping our ears pricked for any sign of an unwelcome return. All we heard were footsteps moving away. Damn, chat, we are such a creeper. I almost feel grossed out reading the dialogue, and be real with you. As I stayed hidden, listening for trouble, I know, that needed a growl for sure. A thought began to cross my mind. Kid, sure does smell nice. Oh, jeez, come on. We are one of the worst protagonists we've had on stream in a while, chat. Like, there's a lot of competition for bad protagonists. I can't believe we are barely 20 minutes into this game, going on 30, and he's yeah. what a character. Oi, Filler, gonna move your ass or what? She whispered in my ear, her breath tickling as she spoke. It's the worst party I've ever seen. Yeah, this is very questionable. It makes me think about Chrono Cross in a different light for sure. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. Rushed to my feet in a panic, smacking my head right into the top of the desk. Did we just injure ourselves? Ow. Yeah, we did the damage sound. I think we actually took damage for real. Radioing my head in my hands, I crawled out from underneath. Oh, that stings. It followed right after and stood up looking down on the floor. Not your most heroic moment. You alright? Yeah, I'll live. Took a look around the room. No sign of that dirtbag Lynx. Lucky for him, she snorted. So Poor has made its move. Vigil emerged from the shadows, contemplating the news we'd overheard. Kid, the rumors are true. We might well be about to find ourselves in a very difficult situation. Seemed to set her thinking too. Poor was a powerful nation that ruled the southern continent. Heard it was a prosperous land whose recent and sudden development had pushed it far ahead of its neighbors. Made me wonder, what would its inhabitants want here out in the sticks? It couldn't be after the Frozen Flame too, could they? As valuable as it might be, a jewel was just a jewel in the grand scheme of things. You can imagine it being an item of national interest. I mean, ultimately, it was just a pretty rock, right? Let them do what they want. If everyone's busy playing soldiers, they won't be bothering us. Come on, we got things to do. She headed for the door. Left the room and made her way back down the side passage. I'm gonna save before we go further. We gotta mark our progress a little at a time, right, chat? Just a little bit. Parameter says a horny coward protagonist, a psychotic Australian thief, and an unsympathetic cold mage. Yeah, we are quite a crew. Okay, so now I'm back outside at the standard one, so I'm gonna go to a different location. Let me look at the map. Where have we not been? You know what? I see a little cliff note. I just caught it while looking at the map. I might as well go to this next location. Let's go to the right. Yeah, let's go to the terrace. A short walk down the corridor, the terrace came into view. I think we keep following the corridor. Short way along the corridor, running from right-hand side of the terrace, we found an ancient-looking door again on our right. It pressed an ear against it, listening for any signs of life. Dead quiet. Don't reckon there's anybody in there. Let's open the door. In we go. Kid stilled her breath and reached for the handle. The door wasn't locked. It swung slowly open. What's this room supposed to be? It's damp. Kid had poked her head in through the door, taking a quick peek to see if there's anyone inside, and was disappointed by what she found. The room was large and littered with peculiar-looking machinery and knickknacks, all of which were covered in dust, and seemingly been dumped there haphazardly. Everything looked like it had been rusting for a very long time. The ends of the room were completely dark. It was impossible to tell just how big it was, or even what the walls and floor looked like. It seemed the manor's inhabitants had turned the old clock tower into a makeshift storage space some time ago. I stepped warily inside. Leave that alone. I looked over towards Majil and saw a kid trying to pull something from the shadows. It was a huge sword that appeared to be very old indeed. You don't need that old bludgeon. It'd only get in the way. Much as an antique as it was. It won't fetch much on the market in that condition. Yeah, I reckon it might, you know. Plenty of collectors who just love old bits of junk. Well, some old bits of junk. Pouting, Kid left the sword where she stood. At least she put it back down gently. It was then we heard a voice from the shadows. Uh-oh. And what exactly are you doing here, I just about jumped out of my skin. Who's there? Kid and Majil turned to face the voice, ready for a fight. A wizened crone emerged from the shadows. She was hunched over and wore a hood draped over her face. I could tell at a glance that she wasn't just old. She was positively ancient. Just some old dottery... Oh, excuse me. It's just some dottery old hag. What do you think you're doing sneaking up on us like that? Its shoulders relaxed as the tension left her body. Majil, however, continued to give the woman a piercing stare. Oh, what an impish little thing you are. You're to visit a friend, perhaps. Not in the dead of night, I suspect. The crow narrowed her eyes. Let's get a closer look at you. Ah, yes. You must be here to get your revenge on Lynx. What did she... My heart jumped. She seemed to know exactly who we were. We're in trouble. What if she sounded the alarm? Are we about to murder an old woman? This is certainly a highlight tour of the mansion. We snuck under a desk, and then we killed an old woman we happened to cross in a random chamber. Take that, society. We'd have to give up the treasure and run for our lives. What we're gonna do? Play dumb. Just pretend we didn't hear her. Defiantly tell her she was right. I mean, if we're gonna go in a fight, I might as well just tell her. Just pretend we didn't hear her is stupid. I'm just not even gonna, like, humor that option. And I think we are too dumb to actually play dumb, so I'm sure it will backfire. I don't want to do anything that sounds too smart, chat. We gotta dial it down like 8 notches for the pro tag. So I'm gonna tell her she's right, like we're like a small child. Oh wait, can I save here? Oh, I can. Okay, then I'm definitely gonna just choose the first option and see what happens. If she does call the guards, I'll try something else. So what if we are? It narrowed her eyes right back at the crone. What's it to you if we're here to get our revenge on old Lynxy boy? You gonna do something about it? You never change, do you? The crone chuckled madly, her small frame shaking. Ah, the boldness of youth. Yes, that's the spirit. You what? Kid looked at the crone, completely confused. I was no less mystified. Wait, she's humored by that? Okay. Not quite what I thought was gonna happen, but sure. What the heck are you on about? Oh, it must have been 4 or 5 years ago. Yes, it was around then an innocent young thief stole into the manor, looking to singe Lord Lynx's whiskers. She couldn't have been much older than 10, now that I think of it. Shocked, my gaze turned to Kid. Red glint had appeared in Kid's eyes, but her glare was like ice. It really felt as if the temperature in the room had suddenly dropped below freezing. With a chuckle, the crone continued her story, pretending not to have noticed the change in mood. She was an orphan, you know. Came after Lynx to avenge a woman who'd love her like her own daughter. But all the vengefulness in the world couldn't change the fact that she was only a little girl. She was no match for the Lynx's men, sadly, and they quickly captured her. Okay, so I guess we're learning that Kid was adopted? As opposed to just in a big family from earlier? Lynx is the kind of man who would have fear. Or one would fear to have for an ally, never mind a foe. Had it not been for the timely assistance of a friend of hers, the girl would have certainly been executed. The way the people of the manor told it, the very shadows pitied the girl and rushed to spirit her away. I wonder how much of that tale could be true. I have nothing but sympathy for those who know failure. Of course, you can't win all the time. And sometimes against all the odds, fate really can be foiled, and the clockwork of history sent into disarray. What is this old woman even doing in here? No, the ones I have no patience for, those who do not recognize their failure, who fail and choose to give up as a result. I know, Blue Donna, I don't know why this is happening either. The crone looked up from under her hood, stared Kid directly in the face, and grinned. Kid's anger faded, giving way to a dumbfounded expression. I was gonna say, I think that's our team's normal expression. If you wish to steal the jewel from Lynx, if you truly wish to triumph, you'll have to let go of a treasure of your own, Kid. What does that mean? For as long as you cling on to it, the hands of your clock will never move. They'll stay exactly where they all came to rest all those years ago. Who are you? Oh, me? Why, I'm just an old bag, like you said. I do apologize. I must have taken up a lot of your time with all my babbling. I'll be leaving you in peace. Oh, but before I go, the crone turned to face me. You seem to be injured, young man. You wish I could take a look at your wounds. Oh, so we were so dumb that we did actually physically injure ourselves with the desk. Our heroes, ladies and gentlemen. All the attention suddenly turned to me. I panicked a little. I say, all right then, do as you please. What? All right then, please do. Crone muttered a few words as her bony fingers drew sigils in the air. Pale, gentle light began to surround my body, filling me with a strange warmth. Okay, so I'm gonna have to try to remember where this is relative to where we're going. But we found a heal place, so we're definitely gonna save. I could go backwards and see what happens, but this feels like the good ending. As I said before, I'm not interested in exploring all the endings. I just want to get, like, the quote-unquote good ending, and I'll be satisfied with that. Strike a light. That's no ordinary spell. Kid was impressed. Felt my wounds healing. Heard a nostalgic melody that soothed the wounds in my heart. Before I realized it, the crone was gone. Hey lady? Kid strained her eyes, scanning the darkness. There's no one to be seen, and her calls went unanswered. Who the bloody heck was that? It looked like she'd woken up on the floor. The laughing pig after a few too many? Okay. Okay. That's quite a comparison, I guess. What did she mean about you having let go of a treasure? Well, we won't find any answers here. Time to move on. Egiel brought us back down to Earth, emotionless as always. Almost seemed as if he thought nothing had happened at all. I mean, that feels like a summary of what's happened so far. Yeah, I guess you're right. He'd walk quietly to the door, keen to move on. Hold it, you. Just as I was about to follow Kid out of the room, she jabbed me in the side with her elbow. You stingy little bugger filler. Why didn't you tell her to share some of that healing magic with the rest of us? Classic Kid. Oh, hold on. Hold on, let's see if we can get it. Oh, I might not have it on this computer. Oh no. Do I not have it? Oh wait, I do. There we go. We needed that. It was very important. Alright, so far we've presumably only gotten one random encounter. The Wildcat fight was definitely story driven. So now let me just take a moment to consult the map. Let's figure out where to go. So we have been to, so far, we got spoiled. We went to Riddle's room. We went to Lynx's quarters. We went to the study. Oh, oh, that's an interesting room. I'm kind of tempted to go there. Oh, I'm not even gonna spoil the name of it. That's this sounds like such a stupid idea. I can't not go there. I can't. I have to know. I have to know, chat. So we should be able to go right down the corridor. Go to the corridor, sturdy looking door on our left. Yeah, we're gonna ignore it. Well, this door is clearly meant to keep something safe. This ain't some kind of treasure behind it. My name ain't Kid. Sniff, sniff. That's the smell of cold, hard cash. All right, she muttered to herself. She began to inspect the door more closely. I don't want to go here yet. I'm gonna go to the thing that I think is beyond it. Let's ignore this for now. The corridor ended at the foot of some stairs. With Kid in the lead, we headed upwards. It was dark and the stairwell was narrow. We watched our footing carefully as we climbed. The stone of the steps was worn smooth with age. I lost count of how many there were as we spiraled onward and upward. An awful sense of foreboding haunted me. I had no idea why, but I thought we were marching towards the gallows. Oh, yeah. That's about what I thought would happen. Okay, let's save. When we arrived at the top of the stairs, we were greeted by an old heavy door looming in silence. All was deathly silent, and the still clammy air added to the sense of ominous apprehension. Something's very wrong here, I muttered without thinking. I hear cursed whispers from beyond the door, Egiel added, doing nothing to lift the mood. I mean, come on, chat. Do you see the game trying to warn me from going here? Grow up, will ya? Kid shot back at us derisively. She was already examining the door. Well, it ain't locked, and I don't hear anybody inside. Let's go inside. Alright, here goes. It tried the handle. The door opened and with a slow, heavy swing revealed what lay beyond. It was a small cylindrical room that appeared to be the inside of one of the stone towers. It's completely deserted and there were no windows. What's this supposed to be? Something about this place gives me the creeps. Still standing in the doorway, Kid seemed suddenly taken aback. There might be something in here. Let's take a closer look. Welcome, Murphy. Closer look at a bloody empty room? Puh, might as well, I guess. To climb all them stairs. Kid stepped through the door, grumbling under her breath. Scanned the room and then noticed something on the floor. The flagstones were covered in a dozen of narrow scratches, and in places there were thick black stains. Something in the stains spoke of a horror that no amount of scrubbing would ever wash away. A malice and a sadness beyond imagining. Is it Wild Arms 2? There's something written here. Crouching in front of her wall, Majil was inspecting some brownish markings that looked more of the same stains. Someone's carved letters into the wall and scrambled them, using blood magic. It had gone over to take a look. Looks pretty old. Hard to read, too. Some of it's been worn away. Let's see. I cannot hold out much longer. My only hope now is to leave the Acacian Signet in this room. Acacian Signet? Suddenly, the door slammed shut. We jumped to our feet with the start. Yeah, there we go. Let's see what happens. From above us, we heard an unsettling creaking sound. The walls and floor began to tremble. What the hell's going on? Kid's eyes darted around the room as she desperately tried to figure out what was happening. Creaking sound from above continued, and the ceiling moved ominously closer. Up there! There we go, chat. Walked right into a bloody trap, Kid bit her lip. Ooh, it won't let me save. That's interesting. We gotta do something and fast. Enough time to sit and think about this. Let's just try to leave. Yeah, Kid sprang at the door like an arrow, slamming into his shoulder first. It was far too heavy, and her light frame bounced right off it. Damn it! Jill raced to the door like the wind, smashing into it with ferocious force. Made a creaking sound and shook from the impact, but stood firm. Desperately, I hurled myself at it too. Ugh! Shock of the impact rushed through my body, but it was no good. Meanwhile, the rusty creaking from above continued. I said the ceiling's inexorable journey downwards. Make matters worse, now countless blades were popping in and out. Filler! Vijil, this is gonna take the three of us! Timing our blows, we all charged the door at once. Once, twice, a third time. And then the door was open, and we collapsed in a heap in the corridor outside. What? Behind us, we heard the sound of bladed ceiling grinding on the stone floor of the tower room. The metallic scraping noise it made was awful. We could only look on in silent horror, the fate we so narrowly evaded. The machinery continued for a short while before slowly coming to a stop. It seemed the ceiling trap had finally finished its grisly work. Bugger me, talk about a nasty surprise. Is it some sort of execution chamber? Joe continued, seeming to be in deep in thought. In any case, that writing mentioned Acacia. Yeah, what was that all about? I asked. The Acacia Dragoons, the elite knightly order serving General Viper, who once governed the territory of Galesburg to the west. Former knightly order, I should say. They were wiped out more than a decade ago, by the lord of this very manor, no less. Thanks for the history lesson, Mag. Kid rose to her feet, patting off the dust. Too bad we're not here for fairy tale nights. Come on, we got a lot more exploring left to do. I love that I just... Yeah, by the way, chat, it was labeled on the map as Execution Chamber. I just wanted you to know. I didn't want to say it out loud. I was like, I want to see what happens. Jill shrugged silently, and we headed back to the stairs. So I'm assuming I'm building a bond with them. Would like to save the game again, since we've now explored another room. The place is actually not that huge, chat. Like, let me count the number of rooms. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rooms, and we've already been through most of them. So we might actually finish tonight if we just continue to go through. Okay. Alright, let's try to go in this room. What am I, stupid? Of course it's bloody locked. It had tried the door handle a few times before giving it a grumpy kick. Bloody door's got a magic barrier on it, and the bloody barrier's got a barrier of its own to boot. Take more than me putting a boot in it to get through all that. I see. And unless we find the key, we don't have a hope of getting inside. Okay, so we have a locked door to deal with. Reckon I can handle a key hunt, especially if it's that idiot Lynx who's hidden it. If we find his room, I'll sniff it out in 2 seconds flat. You just watch. Oh, did she forget we were already there? I mean, I guess maybe we can ask the mirror. Because if Lynx has the key, right? It could be on his person, or he could have hidden it in a different chamber. So now I just have to backtrack there. So fortunately, we have a map. There's a little more we could do here. Okay, so let's figure out how to do that. I think we got to continue onwards. Let's save, because we never know when a random encounter could occur. Alright, so I gotta basically go back the way I came. Now we're at the terrace. Or Or almost at the terrace. So the terrace is basically where we started, because if you remember, we climbed up, we went in. So basically, there's kind of like, we're kind of on like the second story, if you want to think of it that way. So like, immediately to the left is the death room. Our destination, our ultimate goal, presumably to end the game, was the door that is locked there. So we got to make our way down to the lower levels, which is where we started originally. Okay, so then when we do this, we're going to keep following the corridor. So we're going to go back down the stairs. We might check the other rooms out in a little bit, but since we already know that they wanted us to go back to Lix's room anyway, we might as well go there. I remember, did I do the passageway to the right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so I think this is Riddle's room. Yeah. Who we learned the name of somehow. And then I think we have to continue on our way to get to the other door. Yeah, there we go. So their rooms are at least pretty easy to do. So let's save in case somebody's in here now. Let's go inside. I knew he wouldn't be here. Started looking for any signs of the key to the vault. Maybe she can help, said Kid, thrusting her chin towards the mirror. Only pulled the soft cloth from the mirror and stared into the glass. It was dark, like the surface of a lake at night. So we'll figure out if they want us to go somewhere. What is your desire? I asked it about kids' measurements. We are so bad. Oh my gosh. I'm getting like secondhand embarrassment of this character, chat. We are so terrible. Honestly, chat. We are in like an F tier protagonist tier at the moment. I mean, I could ask it where Lynx was. Maybe I'll ask it afterwards. Do you know where the key to the vault is? The mirror's reflection rippled. Changed to reveal a room with numerous bookshelves. Oh, we were already there. That was the study. Oh, this is easy. Deep sonorous voice spoke. You'll find the key in a place I have revealed, the study. It is inside a book with a purple cover in the furthest bookshelf from the door. Image of the study vanished from the mirror and the voice went silent. Here's the spirit of the mirrors left for another mirror, commented Mijil. To the study then. Oh, I only got to ask one question? Oh, that's annoying. The maid to leave the room, a low voice rumbled through the air, stopping me dead in my tracks. Beware. He knows. Is it the voice of the mirror again? What did it mean? Hurry up or we're leaving you behind, filler, called Kid from outside. Flustered, I rushed after her. I feel like we're overdue for an encounter. Really? We didn't get in an encounter? Okay, right, chat? Like, oh, you know what? If we don't have any random encounters, I'm happy. Listen, this makes my life easy. I don't have to guess on anything. Gotta continue on our way. He knows that you're a simp. Uh-oh, rattle. Uh-oh. Might have spoken too soon, chat. So I'm gonna guess it's a skeleton if it rattles. I don't think what else would rattle. It stopped us. There's something here. Listen carefully. Rattle, rattle, rattle. Figure appeared in the darkness on the other side of the corridor. It's a skeleton. Oh, Snake would have worked too. Oh, look at him. Has he only got a single eye? That's not good for depth perception. It's a skeleton. Readied ourselves for a fight. What was I gonna do? I ran, I assist this. I'm gonna assist the situation. We squared off against the skeleton. Threw the sword it was carrying to the ground and took a step forward. Then it twisted its body into a strange pose. Wait, is it doing what I think it is? Is it gonna throw the sword? What? I'm just gonna read the sentence, chat. I'm gonna read the sentence. And then we can all just kind of nod our heads. It proceeded to contort itself further, adopting a shape that could only be described as highly suggestive. There you go, Blue Donna. Thank you, Blue Donna, with the timely advice. I mean, it's applicable. Triple exclamation mark. For a moment, no one quite knew how to respond. What the bloody hell? What should we do? Wait, kid, look at Mag. Majil seemed completely bewitched. There's no way he'd be in any use to us now. Okay, let's attack. Come on, then. I charged at the skeleton. Took advantage of the opening created when it raised its sword, and I kicked it as hard as I could in its lower spine. There's an almighty crack as the bone snapped and the skeleton fell in two. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't trust in our ability to shake magic. Again, I will try not to do too many smart things with our protagonist. Split second later, a kid landed a massive blow on the top half. With its skull shattered, the skeleton immediately came to a halt. Huh. Guess you can fight after all. We defeated the skeleton. Oh, that went pretty well. Kid turned her attention back to Majil. Can't believe this Drongo, though. Drongo, oh my god. Whack, she brought her fist down on his head. Maybe that'll wake you up. Now if we're done here, let's get a bloody move on. What was I? Oh, wow. I was doing great. I felt like nothing could stop me. Maybe ain't such a Drongo after all. This goes to show, any old weirdo can make something themselves if they put their own mind to it. His eyes glinted with mischief. I guess we got her approval there? Question mark? Alright, so I think we just gotta go back upwards. I think we're doing fine so far. Ash's stairway was short. Okay, let's move forward. Nothing new to say here. We're basically just going back and forth. Okay, so now it acknowledges it as the study. So that is actually kind of a nice thing, I will say, with the text adventure. I wasn't sure if it was going to do that, but I like that it at least tells you what you're going towards if you've been there before. That's actually decent. I don't necessarily trust games I don't play to tell me that. Normally I have to say like north, north, west, east. like now east, north, south, east, south, northeast or something. It's endlessly. Like barely any idea where I'm going in a maze, but this isn't too bad. It's not a very big map. Headed down the side passage. At the end we came to a messily polished door. This was the study. Let's go inside. Now we have a book to go to. Right, let's find this key. Light on her feet as always, Kid moved into the center of the room. Where did the mirror say it was again, filler? She was asking me? How was I supposed to remember? Oh my gosh, we're so stupid. Oh, are we really gonna have to choose what option it is? I'm pretty sure it was purple book furthest from the door, so we're gonna look for that. The book with the blue cover and a near bookcase, that's not wrong. Red cover, no. Green... There's a lot of options here, but I see the book with the purple cover in the far bookcase. I think it was supposed to be one with the purple cover in the furthest bookcase. I mean, I'll give them that. There were like 8 options to choose, but... Alright, let's see. See me to take my word for it. Kid made the case in question. Right, this is the one. Purple cover, purple cover. Aha! This has gotta be it. Kid pulled out a book from the bottom shelf. Jill and I watched as she opened it. Pages were hollowed out, and hidden inside was an old key decorated with strange symbols. Oh. Are we almost at the end of the game already? I mean, I think I could go to that other door that was locked. Nailed it. Nice one, filler. It snatched the key from inside of the book. Right, time to finally get a look at this treasure. Having got what we came for, we left the study. Alright, let me just consult the map again to go backwards. I think I gotta go towards the terrace. Because we're kind of like, if you draw a line, we're on like the right-hand side of the map. I think we just gotta keep going left. But I have to think about where we are relative. That's where it's a little confusing to me. We have to basically go towards the terrace. So I guess based off of us leaving, technically it would be on our right. Let's go to the terrace. So we're going to not go to the terrace. But we'll probably have to remember how to get back here later. think this is the way. The clock tower. We don't need to go there. Let's continue onwards. There we go. This is the door I'm looking for. Okay. The same thing as before, but this time let's go inside. We'll save in case I have to make any quick time events. Or whatever nonsense might happen. Give me 1 second, chat. Okay. Proceed further. This should do it. Kid slipped the key we found into the lock. Lines of magical light flashed across the surface of the door and vanished as various magical barriers were dispelled. Up, down, left, right, blue, red, green, every color under the sun, and then all was quiet. The darkness of the manor returned. Right, we're in. With a creak, the heavy door gently swung open. As soon as I saw what was inside, I gave a gasp. It stepped inside. Whoa, we've hit the mother lode! What the heck is this room? Oh, it's a top-down view. I thought we were, like, looking at it. Like, okay, chat, when I first saw this image, I thought we were looking at some weird hole and, like, weird metal pipes, like, sticking out of the wall. And then I realized it's a top-down view, and it's treasure chests on the side. I was like, what is happening? And then I realized when the flame helped anchor it a little more. But it does look like we're walking into the abyss. Out of the darkness loomed a veritable mountain of gold, silver, priceless works of art, and exquisite trinkets. So what's gonna keep us in here? Because, like, I just found the treasure. That didn't take very long. It looked as if she were on the verge of drooling at the sight of it all. What thief wouldn't have been? After all, this is the kind of hoard that few people would ever come across in their lifetime. The smallest fraction of this vast amount of riches would have seen the most... would have even seen the most careless spendthrift set for life. Our goal is the frozen flame. Ignore the rest, Mijil spoke with an icy dedication to our mission, and even batted an eyelid at the sight that greeted us. Yeah, I know. She was disappointed, of course. She set about scanning the room for the object of her hunt. Is it the giant flame? Is it the only flame-shaped thing in the room? Wait, is that it? Look at the pedestal over there. Turned to see what Kid was pointing at. There it was, a small yet perfectly formed jewel that gave off a pale red light. A jewel that looked like a flickering fire suspended in time. The frozen flame. Silently, Mijil walked towards the pedestal. I called out, "Hurry, we don't have much time. Wait, we have to be careful." Well, I can save here. Okay. Let's play it cautiously. You're right. This is Lynx we're dealing with after all. It may very well be trapped. We should be on our guard. We need to be quick about this, but fine, have it your way, grumbled Kid, looking away. Mijil examined the pedestal for a short while, then paused. We were wise to be cautious. Like his left hand on the base of the pedestal, he muttered an incantation, rolling quick sigils in the air with his right hand. Some glyphs appeared on its smooth surface, and for a moment blazed brightly. There. Now we can proceed. Wow, this is actually going super well. I'm kind of surprised. I thought I would have messed up something more seriously by now. Mijil calmly reached out and grabbed hold of the red jewel. Dun da da da! Filler and friends obtained the frozen flame. Phew, we managed to get what we came for without anything horrible happening to us. Yeah, I was saying the same thing. Like, I know I have a map, but still. I breathed a sigh of relief and turned again to Mijil. staring silently at the jewel in his hands. Mijil, we did it. Let's get out of... Before I could finish, the frozen flame crumbled to dust. Oh, is it a fake? Oh, okay. There we go. I was gonna say, that was too easy. Expected something frozen to be more blue. Maybe it is blue. Maybe the real one is blue. This flame was a fake. Lynx must be keeping the real one somewhere safe. Well, we know it can't be on the upper floor, I think, at this point. What? Suddenly, a siren rang out. The room was flooded with light, and the metal bar slammed down in front of the door. Turned with the gas to see Kid frozen, one a crown in her hands with a wide-eyed look of awkward shock on her face. Dun-da-da-da! Kid and friends obtained a golden crown, too. Oh, so she stole treasure and activated the trap? What is she, a Boo from Aladdin? Seemed to be more like Frozen in Times. It could be any color, maybe. You're kidding me, right? You had to go and... You complete bonehead. Let rip with a stream of choice insults. In my head, that is. Oh my gosh, you're so lame. Holy chat, we are simping so hard. Jeez. F in the chat. We almost scolded her for poor choices. I know, protag, please. We are so bad. Holy. Metallic parrots in the four corners of the room suddenly came to life, flapping their wings and screeching, "Rark! Thieves! Okay, let's save. We're in trouble. These things are going nowhere, said Mijil, inspecting the bars covering the door. Though to look at him, you wouldn't have thought there was anything wrong. Which way? The parrots, to the vault! We heard voices in the distance. The manor guards were coming. Kid died behind a pile of gold coins. Find somewhere to hide. In a panic, I looked around the room. The large chest sitting wide open next to a pillar. Rushed to empty it out and plunged head first and closed the lid. Captain, there's no sign of anyone in here. No sign. Strange. Peculiar. No one has ever escaped before. None have ever fled the mousetrap's clutches. None. Only pushed up the lid of the chest and peeked through the gap. There were 5 goblins wearing suits of armor unlocking the gate, about to make their way inside. One of the goblins looked around the room, jerking his neck as he peered into the shadows. Captain, what if it actually was a mouse this time? Jeff was grumbling about the mouses the other day, Captain. A mouse. A rodent. A rat. Would a teeny tiny thing like that really have sprung the trap? Replied a stocky, plump-looking goblin. Must have been the captain. He didn't seem convinced. That was when I heard a strange but oddly familiar sound from the corner of the room. Squeak! Squeak! It's coming from where Kid was hiding. Startled, the troop of goblins stopped and looked at each other. For a moment, none of them spoke. Eventually, the goblin captain rubbed his chin through his jaws, and offered his thoughts. Mouses. I'm sure Chef was complaining about cats. Meow, meow. That voice again. Wow. She is so dumb. Right, chat? Wow. Yeah, we're definitely busted. Again, silence. The goblins only looked at each other. She fell for it, OMG, pretty much. Oh my gosh. Funny you should say that, Captain. Way I heard it weren't mouses or cats, it was a Hecarim. ... An awkward silence followed. My mind's eye, I could see Kid racking her brains to work out what a Hecarim was. I smell a rat, by which I mean a thief. Following the captain's lead, the guards reach for their weapons, and then... I saved my game. And then... Heck. Ran, Hecarim. Oh my gosh. What does she think it is, a Pokemon? If we ever have to sacrifice someone, sack her. Pretty much. Wow, chat. We really Pokemon that up. Listen, it really is a Hecarim, by heck, that proves it. Goblin guards grinned and nodded to each other. Cheeky little devil, surprised me there. Let's get out of here, boys. Goblins filed out of the vault. I breathed a sigh of relief. Then they came charging back in again with a mighty roar. There is no such thing as Hecarims. What, you sneaky little buggers, roared Kid, leaping out from behind the pile of gold coins. Wow, we are so dumb. Right, chat, this is painful. This might this might be some of the most painful protagonists I've seen in a while. Holy. This has me worried about Chrono Cross, chat. Don't remember very much of that game, but now I'm concerned. You're one to talk, thief! Brandishing their weapons menacingly, the goblins move slowly forward, forcing Kid into a corner. You know what? You know what would have been sad, chat? If we were given the opportunity to rename the character and we named Baby, that would have been like the funniest line. I'm telling you right now, chat. Like, instead of calling her adult or teenager, we just downgrade to Baby. That would have been so funny, because then they put Baby in a corner, chat. I quietly eased open the lid of the coffer and slipped out. Can't leave you anywhere, can I? I muttered to myself. Knew Kid could handle herself, but I didn't fancy her odds against a whole troop of heavily armed goblins. We got Dumb and Dumber and Majil, yeah, pretty much. For a moment, I wasn't sure what to do, but then I made up my mind. I had to take the opportunity to escape! Oh my gosh. We're so bad. Oh my gosh. We're actually awful. No, if it feels like the bad ending, I should probably help her. Right, I had to save Kid. There's no way I was gonna abandon a friend in need. Yeah, say that to the other option, protagonist. Wow. We're not facing off against a group of 5 goblin guards. Find a way to come out on top, I hoped. I drew a knife from my belt and leapt into the middle of the room. Hey, snot for brainsies, over here! Goblins all turned to look at me at the same time. 10 beady, cruel little eyes, all staring daggers at me. Fool! In a hurry to die, are we? I gulped and wondered if making a run for it might have been a better plan of action after all. Ah, humans are so stupid! The goblin captain chuckled and licked his teeth. Yep, this one's got a death wish, all right. Why else would he be so stupid as to come after Lord Lynx's treasure? Huh, that's a first. Being called dumb by a bloody goblin. Acting tough when you're crying to your mom later on. Oh my gosh, seriously? Can I root for the enemies, chat? Do I need to go back to the executioner chamber and just try to catch the blades? Judging by Kid's response, she wasn't feeling massively threatened. And you tell her it was Kid who kicked your teeth in. So you're Kid, are you? The sneaky little slippery little thief we heard so much about. The goblin narrowed his eyes. Lord Lynx will be thanking me from now until my retirement when I bring him your head on a silver platter. The captain pulled his morning star from his waist and started swinging. You don't know who you're messing with. We ain't no ordinary goblins, sweetheart. We're Lord Lynx's elite guard. The goblins that gobble other goblins. Don't like how that was framed. That's right, the Gob Squad. Okay. Could potentially go back for healing if I take too much damage. We'll see. Shooting your mouth on it, let me stick a boot in it. And with that, Kid launched into a lightning-fast spinning kick. We connected with the side of the goblin's head with the crack, sending the treasure tumbling to the ground. Get him, lads. The boy looks scrawny. Start with him. Goblin Captain spun the heavy metal ball of his morning star in the air. Glorious glob strike. Aye, aye. The goblin charged across the room in response to the captain's command. Glob strike incoming. I'm gonna say I ready myself to parry the attack. Just about managed to push my knife's attack aside and tried to strike back with my knife. Landing a heavy blow in the goblin's unguarded flank. Okay. Goblin's face crumpled in agony. He lashed out with a lightning-fast kick. There's more where that came from. Please, have mercy. Struck a goblin and collapsed to the floor, its eyes wide with fear. This ain't a game filler. Watch yourself, will ya? The goblin flew down from overhead. Bombs away. The growl sent its morning star swinging from above. I'm gonna roll away. Roll across the floor, dodging the attack. Morningstar crashed in the flagstone, sending sparks flying. That was a close shave. Ain't good my escape by rolling further, clumsily putting some distance between myself and my attacker. Gob strike incoming, and Rosh swinging his weapon overhead. I'm gonna parry. Okay. So this seems to be working. So I hear overhead strike. Okay, we're getting a good rhythm. It was a good guess. It's paying off. We're doing some damage. goblin's face crumpled in agony. Other goblins hesitate for just a moment, only to be run through by a spear of pure lightning conjured up by Majil. The goblin let out a blood-curdling howl as electricity coursed through its body. Clutched awkwardly at its chest where it had been struck. Its face contorted with agony and horror. Majil's cape fluttered, and his piercing eyes stared coldly at his victim. None who defy me shall escape my wrath. Another goblin flew down from overhead. Bombs away. I'm gonna roll away. Rolled across the floor, dodging the attack. But I wasn't fast enough. The iron ball crashed straight into my back. Oh, okay. That's unfortunate. Let out a howl as the force of the impact juddered through my body. Never felt such raw pain in my entire life. Rolled around the floor in agony. Haha! Dance for me, boy! Let me hear you sing! I crawled on the floor. The shadow of the goblin towered over me like a black mountain. Die, brat! Lips curled around its fangs in a leering grin, and raised its weapon over its head. Oh, no you don't! You have to get through me first! Oh, not who I thought was speaking. I think it would be, oh no you don't, you have to get through me first. Jill conjured up a black wind, which again is used to reference Magus a lot, by the way, which surged forth like a shearing tempest. How does a human know a spell like that? Who are you? The goblin was quickly silenced as the rushing winds tore through it, collapsed to the floor with a final shriek. Jill looked down at its victim, his expression unchanged. Head was spinning, but I managed to take the opportunity to rise to my feet. Gob strike incoming. I'm going to dodge the attack. Swiftly dodged the attack. The morning star brushed past my cheek. Okay, so we only got hit once. That's not too bad. I don't know how, but I managed to escape unsheathed. I feel like maybe it punishes you for duplicating actions. I'm not sure. I lost my balance, though, and fell clumsily to the floor. I lashed out with a lightning-fast kick. There's more where that came from. More have mercy. Stricken goblin collapsed to the floor. Long live Lord Lynx! Glory to the Gob Squad! With these final words, the goblin collapsed. That was the last of them. You know what? If I only got hit once, that's not too bad. We made it. Huh. Piece of cake, said Kid, putting on a brave face on things as she wiped the sweat from her brow with her arm. Then she stopped and looked at me. Filler, what were you thinking, you great drongo? Getting the goblins to come after you like that? Really don't have to, you know. Kid gazed softly at me, her eyes... Oh, gosh. I almost don't even want to read his dialogue in reference to her. Kid gazed softly at me, her blue eyes like the cool glow of the moon seemed to be trembling slightly. Looked down at the ground, hiding her face. Thanks. I'll never forget what happened tonight. Even if we go our separate ways. Even if we never meet again. Never. I like how it's referenced. It sounds like she's just gonna abandon us, which is also hilarious. And then Majil stepped in. Save the chowder for later. We can't waste any more time here. The frozen flame must be somewhere else in the manor. Alright, mate, thanks for stating the obvious. It's not my bloody fault that Lynx has to make things so bloody difficult for everyone. It spun on her heel and made a sulky about face for the door. She might be 17, but she acts like she's 11. Suddenly, her attention returned to the pile of defeated goblins. Bunch of drongos said they're Lynx's elite guard, right? But they got some nice loot on them. That she started unceremoniously rummaging through the fallen captain's pockets. She was like a hyena sniffing for scraps. Hello, hello, what's this? She found an odd metal plate. It resembled an open hand. It was covered in runes. Thinking this might open some other magic door somewhere. Okay, so we did make progress at least. Well, never know when it might come in handy either way. Finders keepers! The plate vanished in the kid's pocket. Looks like there's nothing else worth taking unless you count pocket linen and bits of string. Rose to her feet and looked around the room. You know, it's a real shame to leave the rest of all this loot just sitting here unloved. Suppose we could come back for it whenever. It turned to face us and flashed a grin. Alright, lads, let's get a move on. Ain't gonna be dark forever. That hand-shaped plate is our only clue for now, muttered Majil, seemingly to himself. With that, we left the vault in search of the real frozen flame. I save the game? Okay, I can. Nice. Let's take a look at where I might want to go next. So I believe that covers... Double checking the map. So we covered almost everything. There is one room we haven't been to on the top floor. It's directly opposite us. I'm trying to decide if I want to go there or go downwards. So I think we at least heard of the atrium. I don't know if we did anything in the atrium. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms we haven't really been in yet. 1 at the opposite end, 4 downstairs. Wondering if I should bother with the top floor or come back to that. It could be locked. Hmm. Okay. Let's proceed then. I guess I could do... It's possible the top room might need something. So there's more to explore if I go downstairs first. So I'm just gonna go downstairs. Corridor outside the room stretch off to the left and right. That to the right led to the terrace. The left led to the staircase. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go towards the terrace. Because either way, I have to go this way. So coming across the door. Do I want to get healing? I guess I could check inside. See if she's back. Alright, so... Okay, so we just have silence. Alright, so nobody's in there anymore. So let's leave. That was a good try, I guess. I think I gotta go right down the corridor. Oh, no. I want to go to the terrace. I got a little confused because we got flipped. Yeah, I think that's it. Alright, so let's... Do I want to go to the terrace? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think there's anything I want to do with the terrace yet. Okay, so there's an intersection here. I could go down the stairs. Yeah, let's go down the stairs. We'll check the other room later. I thought about it, but there's more to do down there. Let's head towards the atrium. I'm gonna save. I poked our head through the arch-shaped door and took a look around. Oh, it's big in here. Must be some kind of hall. Okay, so I think we looked at it, but never went inside. Took a cautious look around, then entered, one after another. Atrium was like a beautiful plaza, complete with a statue that doubled as a fountain. Is it a beautiful plaza? This looks horrendous. We have like the almost linoleum style black and white squares on the floor and then like red everywhere. Like just, oh yes, the lovely blood walls everywhere in sight. I just so love the color red. Like seriously, that was exactly. And then this weird like child thing with wings holding something and it could be a gargoyle. Pillars and arches lined the walls. Do they? They're not even in the image here. In the center was a small pool of clear water, above which the statue stood. The other side of the room, I could see another arched entrance like the one we had come through. Well, that's cold. Kid was scooping up water from the fountain. I went over to her, resting my hand on the edge of the marble basin, peered into the pool beneath. I might want to save. If this is a healing spring, this could be useful. Or it could be poison. So we always got that JRPG 50-50 of like, it could just be a death trap, or it could be good. But at least we could save and check. Shadows flickered under the water's surface. I reckon those fish are rare, as in valuable. It leaned it right over the edge. Couldn't see the bottom. I wondered how deep it was. The shadow of one of the fish grew larger and larger. Whoa! Sensing danger, it could let back from the edge. Things are not going well already. Black. A fish leaped out of the water and snapped at her, its jaws bristling with razor-sharp teeth. Mouth closed shut on the air where she'd only been moments before. With a splash, the fish darted back under the water. Pteranodons. Deadly carnivorous fish with razor-sharp teeth and powerful jaws that could snap a monster's horn in half. Staring in horror, I watched as dark shadows began to gather in what little of the pool I could make out. The Pteranodons must have detected prey. Soon the room was filled with the sound of splashing and snapping as the fish teemed at the water's surface. Bloody hell. Even Kid was uneasy. She took another step back. How many pteranodons were in the pool? Thought of what would happen if they all leapt clear of the water and attacked all at once crossed my mind. A cold sweat rolled down my forehead. Suddenly, the water from the statue turned crimson. Okay, yeah, see, that's where, that's a, you know, I was wondering if it was going to be poison. It turning red makes sense. It fits the aesthetic of the room. Shot out a powerful jet that nearly touched the ceiling. It jumped back again. Stood in shock watching the torrent of water erupting from the statue. Scarlet waters continued to gush from the fountain. The pool grew redder and redder and started to overflow. Looked on entranced, but the spell was soon broken when we realized the water was starting to flow faster and faster over the rim of the basin. Pteranodons began to jump and snap at the water's surface with bloodthirsty glee. Brought to my senses by the dull slapping of pteranodons hitting the floor. Let's rush back the way we came. Kid, let's get out of here. In a panic, we splashed through the water back to the corridor we came from. Thanks to the pteranodon snapped at my legs, and I felt a searing pain. I had to endure it if I had any hope of reaching the entrance. Okay, so we took damage again. That's unfortunate. Breathing heavily, I finally found myself back in the corridor outside. Phew, that was a close call. The whole thing was a trap, hey? Talk about twisted. Max is even more of a sick jerk than I thought. About to say you wouldn't have to... You wouldn't... Oh. About to say you wouldn't have to be if he didn't have to guard against people like her breaking into his home. But I thought better of it. We're so bad, chat. Well, at any rate, I think we consider that a dead end. Let's go back. Defeated, we left the atrium. Oh. They caused Kid to stop in her tracks. Hello, what do we have here? Pointed to the entranceway to the hall. I myself face to face with the sculpture of an old man's face with a truly phenomenal beard. The sculpture's eyes seemed to gleam with life. For a piece of marble, it seemed almost too realistic. It's a mouth of truth, announced Majil. An enchanted statue that can tell when you're lying. If it catches you out, it'll bite your hand off. Jill kept his explanation simple so Kid wouldn't drift off before he got to the important part. Wow! Wow! Just outright said it? That is so unflattering. Holy. Yeah, she kind of just spaces out and doesn't pay attention. Wow. The call out was real, chat. Huh. So what's it doing here then? I suspect it's part of a greater mechanism. Stick your hand in its gob, do you? Righto, let's see what happens, shall we? Mischievous glint in her eye, Kid darted over and stuck her hand in its mouth without a moment's hesitation. This feels really dumb. Sat there for a moment waiting, but it didn't take long for her to get bored. Huh, nothing. Okay, I'm gonna save, because she's just being dumb. Alright, chat? Suddenly I had an idea. Hey kid, who's the greatest thief who ever lived? Ah, me of course, you drunk. Kid answered without a moment's hesitation, and then suddenly her face twisted with pain. Teeth of the marble sculpture clamped down on her hand. It bit me, she cried. Knock it off. Everyone knows it's the truth. Ow! Sculpture bit her again as she spoke. Kurt, you little... Cold sweat formed on Kid's forehead. Sculpture was tightening its grip. You won't let go until you say something true. Despite the obvious urgency of the situation, Majil was matter-of-fact as ever. Just say anything, Kid. Anything, as long as it's the truth. Obviously, Kid wasn't listening. Instead, she kicked awkwardly at the statue. Why are we here? Chat, why are we here? Big question. Oi, Beardy, let go of me, bloody hand. She planted her feet on either side of its mouth, and she tried her hardest to pull herself out. She heaved, kicked and stamped, grunted and strained. Then finally, her hand popped free. Taken aback by what I just witnessed, I couldn't say a word. See? Told you it was the truth. Kid raised her hand in the air triumphantly, as if to demonstrate. You could see heavy bite marks. Sculpture hadn't come away from the struggle unscathed either. Its attempt to break free had left it cracked in several places. Jill pointed silently at part of it. I had to take a closer look and saw a pale, flesh-colored tongue. I expect we're supposed to put something in there, commented Majil. Something? What exactly? I replied. It stood there for a moment lost in thought. And then she started to unload all the knickknacks she'd been carrying. Strange collection of odds and ends pulled out from her pockets, her boots, and even from her braid. Alright, filler, now it's your turn to have a go at that stupid statue. Kid grinned at me, holding her assortment of knickknacks on the palm of both hands. She decided whatever further horrors the statue had in store, she'd rather not face them herself. Nice, kid. Real nice. Grumbling to myself, I reached out to pick an item. I choose... a centipede? Ew, why is that it with her? Ew. I'm gonna put in the hand-shaped plate, but ew. Like the hand-shaped metal plate we found. Dumbfounded silence from Blue Dawn is accurate. Taking another look at the runes, I was no closer to working out what they might mean. Here goes nothing. Sucked the plate into the mouth of Truth's marble maw. As soon as I did so, its eyes rolled upwards and the wall gave a light judder. Low rumbling sound came from the sculpture's mouth. This indeed is the ultimate truth of the universe. Did you hear something? Yeah. Watch the mouth of Truth in confusion. Great marble tongue lolled out almost like a snake. Coiled around the plate, seizing it and pulling it deep inside. Okay. What the? What's going on? In a panic, I looked at Majil for answers. Seems the ineffable truth of the universe has left even the mouth of Truth tongue-tied. Majil answered in his usual deadpan manner. He might have been trying to make a joke. Hang on, so that plate thingy revealed the truth of the universe, and... you went and crammed it down Beardy's gullet? Do you realize how much we could have sold that for? Kid kicked the floor in frustration and snapped her fingers. Then drains on all sides of the room suddenly opened wide. Oh, that drained the waters? Okay. Red water formed eddies as it sank away. Helpless, the pteranodons were washed away with the current. Then only trickles of water were left, slowly dripping away. That's a stroke of luck, ain't it? Guess we won't be sleeping with the fishes tonight, grinned Kid, looking at the empty pool. Crossed the drained room, making for the exit on the other side, and pressed on. Okay. I guess we did it. I'm gonna save, if I can, please. Okay. So that was definitely a thing that has happened. Right, chat? Nod your head. Kid stopped in her tracks, her senses clearly tingling. Jill and I were right behind her, and immediately realized that something was very wrong. Is it the fact that you're all awful people? Hear a faint whispering, as if a spell were being cast. Uh-oh. Am I being attacked by something randomly? That's kind of unfortunate. I was hoping to explore the room a little more. A faint light was emanating from a monster sitting crouched on the flagstones ahead. Ooh. Long bony finger traced strange shapes on the tiles, like a demon with a scythe. A demon! Hold out on my knife and ready to confront it. Let's see what it does. Watch the demon carefully, keeping a tight grip on my knife. So far, it's paid off for us. I might as well try it again. Jill didn't waste a moment and let rip with the spell. A ball of flame slammed into the creature. Smell the stench of burnt flesh. Also, I noticed that every time we've waited so far, it doesn't attack us. And as long as our party members also don't have health, which I don't know if they do, this is just kind of beneficial to us because we're the only character that matters for progressing the story. Demon eyes reddened and it bared its fangs. Crisp whispers filled the air. It was casting a spell. Let's slash at it. Leave this to me, I yelled at exactly the same time as Kid. Flipped into the left side of the demon as it swung its scythe down. Whoosh, the blade sliced the air as hair breadth from my nose. A single moment later, and I'd have no nose left to speak of. Kid took advantage while the demon was focused on me and moved to stab it full in the back. Kid left out a grotesque howl and collapsed to the floor. Ha! Did you plan to be the decoy so I could finish it off? Or is that just a coincidence? Either way, it did the trick. Kid beamed with pride. Demon's blue blood pooled on the floor as it lay there, writhing in pain. Its face contorted with agony, glared at us and began tracing strange shapes on the ground with the last of its strength. It sensed that something wicked was afoot. Just die already, will ya? The demon carried on writing, strange shapes forming from its blood. An eerie light illuminated the hastily scrawled curse, and then there was a flash. Lightning like bolts of energy danced around my feet. He was standing right next to the demon, jumped back with a start. And it started drawing even more of the strange symbols. Took advantage while the creature was still concentrating. She withstood her body, stretched out a leg, and swung it in a graceful arc right into the demon's belly. The final gasp, it collapsed on top of its unfinished text. At last, it lay still. I think that went well. Maybe? Did we get zapped? Phew. Taking a few knocks, but I was alright. Scraper or two wouldn't stop me. Oh, maybe I did take damage. Not bad, filler. Not bad at all. Didn't know you had it in you. There's a mischievous glint in Kid's eye. She rewarded me with a few rare words of praise. Okay. Guess I will save. Went through the atrium and continued down the corridor before finding ourselves at a fork in the road. Corridor stretched off to the left and to the right. I mean, when in doubt, we usually go left. I don't know if I really care what order I do these rooms in. So of the 5 rooms or so, we went through the atrium. There should be a few more. We might as well do as many, unless we get something that seems like it applies to the top floor. We'll go left for now. Down the corridor, eventually reaching an old, rather sturdy-looking door. Bloody marvelous. Another bloody door with a bloody magic barrier on it. Wonder what's inside. Me sixth sense tells me it ain't treasure. It whispered back to us as she examined the door. Interesting. I suspect that this is the Manor's dungeon, replied Majil, his eyes closed in concentration. You hear the sound of someone moaning in the darkness on the other side. There's nothing we can do, and thus it is little concern to us now. Let us turn back. Okay, so I found a locked door. Okay. No way getting through the door. We traced our steps down the corridor. So now we have a new quest. We don't know where the Frozen Flame is. We need another key. I'll try to remember that I'll mark it on my little map thing here that we need to come back here later. Alright, so let's continue straight on. There should be a couple of rooms we can explore here. Continue down the dark, dank corridor until some rooms went into view. Let's save the game in case we have another random encounter. I'm a little worried we haven't healed in a while. Maybe the atrium on the way back will let us heal? I don't know. Went down this... Let's go down the stairs. Slowly crept down the staircase, descending deeper into the shadows as we went. At the bottom, we found ourselves another intersection. The narrow passageway branched left and right. I mean, when in doubt, I don't know what order matters. I guess I could try the left path. Usually going left is what I try to do first. He continued on down the corridor until it ended at a large door covered in scratches and other odd marks. Above the door was a wooden plate. Or the legend guard room. Ooh. This could be very bad. I'm gonna save. It bore the legend guard room in elaborate calligraphy. Well, reckon this might be where to find the key to the door upstairs. No getting past that bloody magic barrier without it. Oh, that's true. I wasn't even thinking that. That's convenient, I guess. You press an ear against the door and listen carefully. Doesn't sound like anybody's in there. Okay, then we'll go inside. It opened the door. The room had seemed completely silent from the outside, so we had thought it would be empty, but there was a lone goblin, sitting in a chair with a book in its hand. Light steam drifted from a teacup on the table in front of it, and with it a delicate aroma. Okay. The goblin peered at us curiously over its spectacles. Something different about this one. You could tell as much at a glance. Heavens, how rare it is to have guests. Heavens, how well spoken for a goblin. I only feel dread and suspicion at the sight of him nonetheless. Sorry, mate, but we're not your guests. Cough up the key to the dungeon if you want to live. It slammed her knife into the table to illustrate her point. The goblin didn't so much as flinch. Ah, you must be Kid. What a pleasure this is. I've always wanted to meet you. Why, you're even more ravishing than the rumors would. Before the goblin could finish, the kid's knife flew across the air. Click flick of his wrist. The goblin caught the blade with the back of his book, a mere inch from his face. I see that your approach is as radical as the name of your merry band would suggest. Oh no, is our band literally called Radical Dreamers? Oh man, that's so bad. Are we getting the name reveal to the game, chat? Just, big eye roll moment. The goblin said, pulling the knife free and handing it back to Kid. She took it without a word, but her gaze had changed. She was like a cat, cautiously studying its prey. Okay. I was just getting to the good part, too. Oh well, I suppose I'll have to give up on ever finishing it now. Welcome, the Fabled One. Hope you're doing well. The goblin casually flung the book over his shoulder and into a nearby bin. Allow me to introduce myself if I may. I'm Grismeld. I am the guard on watch. No need to stand. Please do take a seat. You're welcome to tea, of course. Okay, well, I have to drink the tea. That's classic Suikoden-isms. Time to watch a graphic novel, pretty much. The goblin beckoned us to sit down. Did he mean to poison us? Oh, I want to find out. I don't even care. If I may. Majil calmly took a seat, ignoring the obvious suspicion in the air. Sat next to Majil, I looked to Kid. I don't really want to look at her. Let's... If it was like I sat next to Kid, I probably would have chosen that one. So do sit next to Majil. Decided to trust Majil's instincts and took a seat next to him. He had some kind of plan in mind, I was sure of it. It didn't look like she'd be pulling up a chair anytime soon. She was standing with her arms crossed, eyeing the goblin suspiciously. The goblin poured 3 cups of tea. Hope you're doing well, the Fabled One. Here you are. With the slightest hint of hesitation, Majil took his teacup and lifted it to his lips. He sipped and then placed the cup back on its saucer. Instead of Himalayan, it's Himalayan. Oh my gosh, that pun is such a stretch and terrible. Himalayan tea. Not a blend I'd expect to find here. What a pleasure it is to encounter a fellow connoisseur. Yes, it's a rare blend and one enjoyed by the noble classes. Making some lemon lime soda. Nice, nice. I couldn't believe the conversation I was hearing, but I also couldn't help wondering what this rare tea might taste like. Eyes rested on the cup that had been poured for me. Couldn't shake the fear that it might be poisoned. I knew it. I couldn't ignore how delicious it smelled. Or it smelled, excuse me. Before I knew it, the cup was in my hands. This is great, I blurted out. I had such a delicious brew in my entire life. Aches and pains faded away. Oh, he healed us. Okay, didn't see that coming. Placed over a kid who was blowing menacingly at the liquid in her cup. Okay, we're definitely saving because I'm no longer injured, presumably, which is huge. I'd forgotten she was paranoid about burning her mouth on things. There are battles in this game. Now that we're comfortable, let's get down to brass tacks, as they say. Brass tacks? Oh man, chat. Hold on. Let's get an idiom check on this one. To start to discuss or consider the most important details or facts about something. Where did this come from, though? Okay. Presumably England. Yes. Okay, there's a very long thing. I'm not reading all this. Anyway. Yeah, we're doing random encounters. So occasionally we'll come across a monster and we have to guess what the correct thing is to injure it, or we take damage. So we took some, I think, force damage. And then I might have guessed wrong on a previous goblin attack. So I just want to make sure we don't take too much. It didn't say we were like near death or anything, but I don't really want to find out the hard way. I do indeed have the key to the dungeon, as you surmised. Be also be aware that I simply cannot give it away. Oh no, we have another fetch quest. I glanced over to Kid again. Typical, she wasn't listening to a word Grismeld was saying. She was still huffing and puffing at her tea. It seemed it would be up to me to respond. Okay. Give us the key and you get to live? Yeah, I don't think so. I suppose that means you want something to return. Or in return. That's probably the right choice. You'd like to know what I want. I want your heads. Griswold's eyes glisten behind his spectacles. I pull out my knife. Rather, I'm sure that's what my employer would have me say. But no, I have no such barbarous aspirations. Furthermore, I doubt I'd be a match for you. I almost chose the thing where I could attack him, but then it auto-advanced on me. That was cute. Griswold chuckled as he said this. What I live for is the joy of conversation. I fear my compatriots are ill-equipped to supply. Perhaps you might have one or two ripping yarns to share. Oh man, that's quite a phrase. Grinning, he added, I'm sure those notorious thieves such as yourselves might have more than a few thrilling tales up your sleeves. Let's save, because I'm probably gonna have to pick a story. They wanted to hear a story. That seemed more than a fair price to pay for the key. Closed my eyes and thought, aha, I know just the story. How did it begin? Oh, never mind, we don't make a choice here. One night, a young girl was walking alone in the forest. And then... she's searching for a golden sunflower, the only way to cure a sick mother's illness. She was out hunting for bugs. I'm assuming if we're supposed to be talking about Kid who randomly had a centipede in her inventory, that it's probably she was out hunting for bugs. I'm assuming we're telling a tale about her versus making something up. What was next again? She caught a beetle and painted it gold. Her family was very poor. I don't know, chat. Might make a save here. I mean, if we're talking about Kid, I don't know if her family was poor. I could see her painting a beetle gold because she's obsessed with gold. So maybe this is the right response, given that she's very greedy. Fragments to remember seemed about right. I had a rough handle on how the ending would go. Took a breath and began my tale. One night, a young girl was walking alone in the forest. She's out hunting for bugs. She caught a beetle and painted it gold. Next morning, she set off into town to sell her catch. Okay, yeah, see, that sounds like something Kid would do. On her way there, she met some travelers, convinced them that the creature she carried was the fabled beetle of fortune. She sold it them for an eye-watering price. Rich at last, the girl and her mother lived happily ever after. Hey, filler, the girl's name wouldn't happen to be Kid, would it? My blood froze at the quiet threat in the voice behind me. What? I'm just making the story up as I go along. Don't tell me you actually did all that stuff. Yeah, there we go. I had a feeling she's kind of a monster. The moment I turned around, I found my neck caught in Kid's hands. How'd you find out? How? I couldn't answer her. I couldn't even breathe. Are we gonna die and be a party member? Braced myself for a slap across the cheek. Before it came, Griswold called out to stop her. Whispered a few words in her ear, then handed her a small bag. Her eyes glinted like stars, and she looked very pleased with herself indeed. Kid turned to me and Majil. Right, let's hurry up and kill Link so we can have some of this here tea. Griswold had won her... So Griswold had won her round with his special blend. Must have really liked the stuff. Then again, it was just like her to have her head turned by next to nothing. Wow, these are really not flattering descriptions of the party. Oh, and don't forget this, said Griswold before she ran off without getting what we came for. The key, as promised. I took it from Griswold's hand. With that, we left the room. Should I say we were dragged out by a very excited Kid? Okay. Do I go back to the other rooms now or check the other places? Let's see. Guess I could check the other places first in case I need anything. We might need help with one of the other areas. Maybe I don't go back to the locked door that they think is a prison. The way the right is going up, the way the other place is in darkness. Let's continue on. Okay, so we found another door. Let's check this room out. Get a whiff of that. Something smells good, whispered Kid, sniffing at the air. We'll do a quick save. It is a text-based adventure. We will save Scum if we need to. Let's go inside. But so far, so good. We open the door. Blimey, this is a small kitchen. She said blimey, really. Blimey, this is a small kitchen. Must be for the servants, commented Mijio. Am I enjoying it so far? Mixed feelings towards it. I think we have some of the worst protagonists I have ever seen, and in a way, it's oddly amusing at how terrible they are. Our character's depravity knows no depths. We should have. I guess I could have technically renamed the character Simp. It is really bad. He mostly behaved himself in that last scene, at least, but it is pretty bad. But fortunately, I don't think the game is super long, so we get to see whether or not we feel this was a proper ending to Chrono Trigger. So far, the answer is no. Yeah, mostly in quotes. So far, the answer is no. This doesn't really leave me feeling satisfied with Chrono Trigger. So far, there's only been very tangential relations to Chrono Trigger. They mentioned Poor earlier, for example, which was a place we did visit in Chrono Trigger. But aside from that, we haven't had any real connections. These protagonists are psychotic. Yeah, they are. I scanned our surroundings. A basin for washing dishes, cooking utensils, some food made ready for tomorrow, and a mousetrap. Looked like any other commoner's kitchen. He'd walked over to a large pot filled with food and peered inside. Looks like tomorrow's lunch. Want to try some filler? Sure, I guess. Timidly, I peered into the pot. Looked like stew and it didn't smell bad at all. Almost inviting. Scooped some up with a ladle and brought it to my mouth. It was delicious. It was revolting. I'll say it's delicious. The stuff's delicious. You should grab a bowl, kid, I urged between bites. He was looking at me again, staring at me intently, in fact, like she was searching for something. Well, you ain't green or nothing. Guess it's safe. All right, let's have a try. Licked your lips with anticipation and swiped my spoon right out of my hand. Fancy a taste, Mag? No. He'd grabbed a bowl from nearby and began spooning out more. I did the same. We had our fill. So we got healed again. I don't know if that was wasteful or not, but we'll find out in the future. The stew was still warm, and it felt as though the magic of fresh home cooking was easing my wounds somewhat. Suddenly, a little voice rang out. You there, the young man with the braid. Kid froze. Oi, who you calling a bloke? Kid barked angrily in the direction the voice was coming from. Mouse was looking at us with eyes like saucers, from inside the mousetrap hanging from the wall in the corner of the room. Oh, I'm sorry. You're a young lady, I see. The mouse bowed its head in apology. So we have actual animals that talk to us. Okay. Please, kind young lady, you must hear me out. Mouse put its paws together and stared pleadingly at Kid. Oh, this mouse is doomed unless we're allowed to make a choice. I left the nest to find food for my mother, but as you can see, I managed to get myself caught in a trap. If you leave me here, I'll surely be eaten by goblins. It eyed the little creature suspiciously. Eaten by goblins? Wait, that's stew. Putting two and two together, Kid ran for the sink. I beg of you, please free me from this trap. Wait, what? My mother is sick and she'll be terribly worried about what has become of me. I'm half wondering if she's gonna try to eat him. Mouse was clearly begging for its life, but there was an odd little glint in its eye. Okay. Save. We made progress. Meanwhile, Kid was at the sink. Blarfed! Oh, I'm never gonna get the taste out of my mouth. I'll be buggered if I'm hanging around here any longer. I'm guessing it's implying it was made of mouse. Kid had returned from the sink, only to stamp off towards the door, looking very green around the gills. Kindly young lady, I don't suppose you could free me first? You get yourself into this mess. You could sort it out yourself. Yeah, that's about what I thought would happen there. It all but spat on the ground as she left. Mouse's eye welled up as it looked at me. Young man, please, you're my only hope. Wow. I love her option is, I left the mouse to its fate. That's so messed up. I'm tempted to do that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of tempted. Alright, what happens if you free the mouse? Fine. Unable to bear it staring at me any longer with its pleading eyes, put down the cage and opened the door. Mouse banded happily out from inside. The mouse gave a wicked chuckle. You poor naive fool. Suddenly its body began to balloon massively in size. What? Oi, Filler! What are you doing in... Kid stopped in horror the moment she opened the door. Bugger me, a griffin! A mouse turned into a griffin? Enormous creature stared balefully down at us. Idiot humans! Mother's not sick, but yours will be when she sees what I've done to you. Good going, Filler. You're a bloody liability. Okay, of all the things I thought was going to happen, the mouse turning into a griffin was not one of them. I was thinking it was gonna unleash something on us. Oof, okay. Maybe I made a mistake, but she didn't have to rub it in like that. I guess depending on how bad this goes, I could just reset. The griffin gave an almighty cry and leapt right at us. Razor sharp talons sliced through the air, raking down at me. I'm gonna say I ducked. Off guard, I tried my best to dodge the attack. Blow never came as the griffin suddenly lost its balance and came crashing to the ground. Wait, what? Oh bother, I'm too hungry to even properly fight. But you're in the kitchen. Wait, what? Yeah, what on earth indeed? Breathe a sigh of relief, running a hand down my chest. Alright, little mouse, now it's time for the real show to begin. Kid walked up to the griffin, cracking her knuckles. He gulps. Please, kind young lady, this is all a misunderstanding, a terrible misunderstanding. Panicking, the creature leapt to its feet. I guess that went well. I'll save. You can't kill me, I have useful information. Oh, actually, that was useful then. Let go of me, I promise I'll tell you everything I know, everything. Yeah, and I know how much a promise from the likes of you is worth. It took another step towards the griffin, not skipping a beat. Rawr, please! It kept on coming. The griffin kept on shrinking away. Enough. Jill called for Kid to stop. Let's hear it. Oh, thank you, kind sir. Griffin was beside itself with relief. Spoil my fun, why don't you? Grumbled Kid, pouting as she turned away. Listen well, O merciful savior. Right thrice, left twice, right twice. Right thrice, left twice, right twice. Okay. Is this like a combination to a safe? Potentially in the future? Or some kind of navigation through something dangerous? I will make a note of this here. 1 second. Right thrice, left twice, right twice. Okay. Noted down for now. With that, the griffin returned to its mouse-like form and disappeared into a small hole in the wall. Trapped in Lynx's snares, ha! As if it'd be thick enough to walk into one of his traps. Let's get out of here. We wasted enough time already. He turned on her heel and made for the door. He left the kitchen. Okay. The intersection. I think we just gotta go back the way we came. So I think we've explored every room but the upstairs room at this point. But we do have a key, so I might as well go back now. We're gonna ignore this room, because this should be the guard room. Give me 1 second, actually. Way I can read the directions we got earlier. Oh, you know what it is. Oops, I forgot. Directions are inversed. I gotta go up the stairs, I think. My bad. Unnecessary direction we just went. I forgot it's not over there. Let's go back up the stairs. So we basically gotta go back to the room that we know is locked, which we now have the key to. Wonder if it'll tell us how to go there. Yeah, let's go straight toward the cell. So let's save for sure. We're making good progress, I think. Right, the key we got from that creepy old goblin should do the trick. It slipped the key into the lock. Heavy door groaned slightly as it slowly swung open. Clammy air rose up around our feet, as if crawling blindly through the darkness. This didn't seem like the kind of place anyone in their right mind would visit voluntarily. Okay. Push the heavy iron door and the rest of the way open. Oh, we pushed the heavy iron door the rest of the way open and stepped into the darkness. Row of cells all locked behind iron bars. One, two... Oh, Gulliver, Melgahir, Zoronda, forgive me, please. Please forgive me. Heard a voice from the third cell, whimpering and crying pathetically. I trained my eyes to look inside. Mainly in the darkness, I could see something that looked like a man sitting on the floor. This was the source of the voice. Oh, are you alright there, mate? Kid called out to the figure. Forgive me. It's all my fault. It's my fault. The Dragoons never deserve this. General, Lady Riddell. Oh, forgive me, I beg of you. The old man didn't seem to respond to us at all. He sat facing the wall, begging forgiveness for who knew what. So I'm guessing there was a betrayal, and that's how the Dragoons were defeated. You know, Lady Viper, I think, was heading them up, I think, from earlier. Hello? Can you hear me? Asked Kid, trying again. There'll be no getting through to him. His real self will have long since retreated inside the shell he has created, said Majil, cutting her off. Shell? What do you mean? I asked. He has built a shell around the core of his psyche in order to shield himself from the truth. He is running from something. Something terrible. He has seen something or been through something. Or has done something. And so he has created his own world on the inside. As a final refuge, the outside world lost to him forevermore. Looked at Majil in surprise. Detected a hint of unspoken sadness in his words. For some reason, he was looking at Kid. Wow, okay. I mean, she is delusional, that is fair. Watching over her as she stared at the man in the cell. Seeming to notice my gaze, Majil turned back to face me, assuming his usual emotionless expression once more. We live in a world of sorrow and foolishness. It's only inevitable that some would try to escape it. Despite his hard words, his eyes retained a certain softness, his steely gaze giving way to a gentle light. Do you understand? Could you be a bit more specific? I think I'll say I think so. I gave a slightly evasive answer. You seem confused. I don't blame you. You'll come to understand eventually. Majil looked at me and Kid. Uh-oh. Right, Chad, that's not a good sign. He's thinking about that. This is not Chrono Cross. Indeed, it's not Eldritch. What was that all about, I wondered? We're not gonna get much out of him. He's miles away. Let's just leave him be and try someplace else. Kid made for the door of the dungeon. Wait, called Majil. Must find some way to get this man to speak. Really? What for? I mean, he's already speaking, just none of it makes sense. What are you after? Okay. Let's save before we have to make a decision. Some things he said piqued my curiosity. He mentioned the Dragoons, and Riddle, too. So, you said the Dragoons are ancient history, snapped Kid. Besides, how can we trust anything he says? He's clearly gone off his rocker. She had a point. The old man had long since cut his ties to the real world. What did Majil expect him to say? Without missing a beat, Majil replied, We simply have to bring him back to reality. How are we gonna do that? You want me to do a little dance for him or something? See if it gets his motor going? I feel like giving her... Yeah, I know, Eldritch. ... indeed. I think I'm gonna ... that. Yeah, I feel like when given the chance to be passive-aggressive, I think we gotta do that. I knew if I said anything, I'd get nothing but the earful of a lifetime in return. I clamped my hands over my mouth to save myself. What are you playing at, filler? Kid seemed unimpressed. Phew, that was a close one. Okay. I don't think that would work, said Majil dryly. His fist flew straight towards his face. But Majil shifted his weight effortlessly, avoiding the attack, and continued. We must break through the shell he has created and drag him back to the real world. And in order to do that, we will need some kind of key. Something that will reach him even through the barrier he has erected. Okay. Yeah, and where are we gonna find this key? Asked Kid suspiciously. I don't know, came Majil's simple reply. But there is someone in this manor who can tell us. Really? Is there? You don't mean you're not talking about Riddle, are you? Yeah, maybe. I am, Majil replied with a nod. Alright, fine. Don't know what the heck you expect her to tell us, though. Yeah, we haven't come across her. Maybe she's on the first floor. We haven't come across Lynx or Riddle so far. Or Riddell, excuse me. It turned on a heel and made for the door. Left the gibbering old man in the dungeon alone with his sorrow. Interesting. Unless I just have to go back to her room, which is possible. Follow Kid and Majil back out into the corridor. So let me consult the map, because we're absolutely not doing this without a map. Give me a moment to look at the map. You know what I was thinking earlier, chat? When we picked up the sword that was in the clock room for no reason, I wonder if that's going to end up being like Chrono's sword, or if it's going to be the Masamune from Chrono Trigger. I feel like it was kind of a weird thing to reference. I might go to check it out later. Might be important to use. But I think for now, I guess I could try Riddle's room before I go to the other place? Maybe? So let's continue towards the atrium. An exit leading to Lynx's and Riddle's room gaped ominously from across the cavernous space. I mean, there's no reason for me to not check the room. It's on the way there regardless. I imagine Lynx is probably in the ballroom because we haven't come across him still. Forget if I continue along the path. I might have to continue along the path. 1 second. So far, no random encounters. Should be her room, right? Yeah, there we go. I still don't know how we ascertained that that was her name. I guess we just kind of knew. Let's see if she's here, and if she's not, we're gonna go upstairs. Find ourselves in a tidy, welcoming room. The knickknacks and curios that are along the place seem to be well loved. Or if nothing else, we can maybe bring something from that room to him. The stately desk and the cozy-looking bed nearby, meanwhile, suggested the room's occupant was no stranger to luxury. The room was furnished, it was somehow awfully lonely. Is someone there? Came the voice of a young woman. We shrank into the shadows. The woman appeared from deeper within the room. She was lightly made up and had a gentle, unthreatening air about her. It was Lynx's daughter. Strange. I'm sure I heard someone. I was at a loss as to what to do for a moment. Before I had time to do much more than hold my breath, it had already darted over. Thrust her knife out, stopping the blade only a hair's breadth from the woman's neck. Where's the frozen flame? Answer me! Her voice came out in a harsh growl. I rushed in to hold Kid back before she hurt the poor woman. Kid, do we really have to do it this way? Shut your trap, filler! Riddle couldn't help but giggle as she watched this bickering. What are you laughing at? Kid shot Riddle a harsh look. It's just, you don't seem like thieves at all. You want me to cut you, girl? I'd be surprised if that knife could cut anything. For a moment, I felt faint, imagining Riddle on the floor, covered in blood. I love that we have no faith that our companion is not just going to try to kill our only lead in this entire place. Like, we know they're psychotic. Like, we know they have some serious issues. But then clang. Kid had thrown her knife to the floor. And I saw that it was only a letter opener. Didn't think you'd notice. Whatever. I'm not here to mess around killing the likes of you anyway. I have no desire for bloodshed either, said Riddle in a voice that almost sounded like a whisper. I am not your enemy. In fact, I want to help you. There wasn't a hint of hesitation or deception in her voice. Let me guess, you're trapped in the manor too? It only lowered her eyes sadly in response to Kid's question. The frozen flame should never have been allowed to fall into Lynx's hands. Riddle spoke quietly, but deep emotion clearly underpinned her words. The flame was once the property of an ancient kingdom to the north, who kept it for generations. It was said to have the uncanny power to guide people and change history itself. After the kingdom fell, the flame changed hands countless times, till eventually it came into my father's possession. That was before I was born. Sometime later, Lynx became aware of the flame's true value and approached my father under false pretenses of friendship. Not a soul suspected that his true intentions were. And then on that horrible day, he destroyed everything. He killed everything. Fiddle shook her head and then buried her face in her hands. I don't care about the frozen flame. I don't care about that stupid accursed stone. It means nothing to me. I just want to take it away from Lynx and smash it to pieces right in front of him. And only we can make that happen. Riddle looked up with a surprise. Oh, apparently Magil spoke. Yeah, the game kind of needs to tell me if somebody's speaking differently there. It's kind of rude of the game. And only we can make that happen. Riddle looked up with surprise as Magil spoke. No one else in the world can seize that jewel from Lynx. Riddle stared speechlessly. Then in a low voice she whispered, what can I do to help you? There's a survivor of the Acacia Dragoons in the dungeon who we want to help. If we're to help him, we need your help, said Magil, taking a step forward. What? That man is a traitor. It's because of him that father, that Zorinda. Please, it's the only way. Riddle turned her back to us and hung her head low. The Chamber of Death. There might be something to bring him back to his senses there. After all, it was there he chose to abandon his pride, his life. I assume the Chamber of Death must be the cell with the trapped ceiling. Riddle nodded. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem, started Kid. That thing damn near killed us last time. You'll need to take the Einlanzer with you. Oh, it's a sister blade to the Masamune. Okay, now I understand. This is a sacred blade said to have been forged by an ancient sage, and a sister blade to the crimson, cursed Masamune. The timeless blessings of the Einlanzer will surely keep you safe from the Chamber of Death's wickedness. It used to be a sight to see it in the hands of Zorinda. It danced like the wind, shone like the stars, and struck like lightning. Lost again in memories of fonder times, Riddle once more bowed her head. Forgive me. I have a little more to tell you. You've told us more than enough. We'll take our leave now, said Magil, turning and making leave for the door. I wish I had the strength to change things like you do, whispered Waddell, biting her lip. It hesitated for a moment, seemingly deep in thought. It ain't about strength, it's about having a purpose, something to fight for. I will be praying for you. It shot Riddell a look over her shoulder. Great, maybe you could cross your fingers too. He left the room. Kid is so unlikable, chat, I swear. Message outside the room continues. Okay, so we probably don't want to go to Lynx's room. We went there earlier, nothing to really do there. We need to go down the passageway though. We have to go towards the atrium. 1 second, then let me look at this. No. We gotta go back towards the atrium, right? I need to go back up the stairs. Yeah, there we go. I'm looking for the stairs. So I think we're going to go to the clock tower, because that's where the sword was. So we already been here before, so I'm not going to read the descriptions. But basically, we are going from what presumably is the first floor up to the second floor. And if we make a turn towards the terrace, then I should get closer to the room that I'm actually looking for. We don't want to go to the terrace. That's how we got in. Yeah, this should be the room I'm looking for. Yeah, let's open the door. Last time we found the sword there, and we didn't take it because we just decided it wasn't worth it, but now we need it.
You're wide open!
Thank you, Spruce Zeus, for the follow. Oops, I accidentally put the layer a little too high. My bad. Try that again. My bad, it partially hid the follow, but thank you again for the follow. I like how it says the room was completely silent and there was no sign of life, yet we just immediately hear clicks and clacks. There it is, our ticket to not getting turned into mincemeat. The ancient sword was right where Kid left it, after pulling it out from a pile of junk. Turned over to where it lay. Looking down at the sword, Majil muttered. 2 ancient blades, the sacred Einlanzer, and the cursed Masamune. What do you want about Mag? You know something about this Master Mune? Majil said nothing. Well, it seems to mean something to you. It does. Uh-huh. Something to do with old friends I don't know about? Not exactly. An enemy, then? Not exactly. I'm really suspecting this character is Magus or Magus, or however you want to say it, from Chrono Trigger. I mean, he's got control of the elements. He's mysterious. We think he's cool. And we think he comes from another world. So, I don't know, chat. Things are kind of looking similar. Or it could be... If you remember the DS extension where there was the other Magus who was fighting against the Devourer, this could be the version of Magus that lost his memories. Maybe it's that version? Question mark? Oh, you're being weird, Mag. Yeah, see how they're calling him Mag, too? Well, whatever. Only numbnuts, grab this thing for me, will ya? I was still standing by the doorway when Kid called over to me. Who, me? Yeah, you. Were you gonna make me lug the bloody thing around the place? Just a scrawny little girl, ain't I? Call yourself a gentleman. A scrawny little, or my jaw dropped? I'm gonna say my jaw dropped. I don't think I want to comment to her. I knew there wasn't anything I could say to her. We are what we like to call absolutely whipped. Silently, I walked over to Kid and picked up the sword like I was told. Wow, we're the worst protagonists, I swear. Whoa! I nearly fell over. That thing was heavy. Good boy. Went off to the Chamber of Death. Eyes on the prize, lads. Dragging the sword behind me, I followed Kid out of the room. Okay. Kid stopped in her tracks, signaling to us with a hand behind her back. She drew her knife and stared into the darkness. Heard a clinking of metal from just up ahead. Goblin guards. It wasn't likely there'd be anyone else going for a nighttime stroll around the manor wearing armor. Okay. Potentially another fight here. I mean, we're at full health. We should probably be fine. Suggested attack to retrieve. I drew my knife and readied myself. Let's ready ourselves. Picked up on this situation pretty quickly and drew my knife, preparing for a fight. Kid gave me a sideways glance. You know something? You're starting to look like a real thief. Now you just need to walk the walk, she grinned. Filler giving off filler episode vibes? Yeah, pretty much. Alright, filler. Majil. Let's get him. Kid leapt forward, confident as ever. Like she thought nothing could go wrong. There were 5 of them total. There weren't any ordinary goblins, though. Having been well looked after in this palatial matter, they'd grown to be even bigger than Majil. Each of them were carrying the Manor Goblin's trademark, a morning star consisting of a rod and a heavy spiked iron ball on a chain. Wait, or is it a flail? Oh, I never could remember. I didn't have time to think about it much more. Goblin came rushing at me, swinging its head overhead. I'm gonna interrupt the charge. Held out my knife in front of me in an attempt to parry the attack somehow. Suddenly, the goblin disappeared. I looked to the side to see it buried in the wall. Arms and legs akimbo? Did you really expect to stop a Morningstar with only a knife? Your stupidity will get you killed. I mean, it got me without damage, so I think this is working. Shouted Majil, turning to face down 2 more of the goblins. I'm gonna grab the weapon that they have. Grabbed the Morningstar with both hands and swung it down with all my might. Wham! There was a dull thud as the iron ball crashed into the goblin's helmet. He wouldn't be getting up anytime soon. Looked at... we already looked at Majil. Let's look at Kid, I guess. It was squaring off against 2 of the goblins. The dull lumbering attacks couldn't touch her as she deftly sidestepped each and every one. tricking back nimbly with the knife held in both hands. Kid's style. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Its stings make for tough going against enemies that could really take a beating. Both goblins were covered in cuts, but their attacks were as powerful as ever. Mission to help Kid deal with one of them. Okay, so it's saying don't use a weak attack here. That's what I'm learning. Enemies hadn't noticed me yet. I took my time and chose my target. I'm gonna use the Morningstar. Gripped the Morningstar with both hands and swung it with all the strength I could summon. Wham! There was a dull thud as the spiked iron ball crashed into the goblin's helmet. It should have knocked the It should have knocked the creature clean out, but it was still standing. The goblin turned around, its own Morningstar dangling from its hand. Its eyes were twitching madly. I'm in for it now, I thought. And then its pupils rolled in the back of its head. It crashed lifelessly to the floor. I breathed a heavy sigh of relief. Are you okay? She wiped the blood off her knife, not saying a word in response. Then she did and took a step towards me. There's a terrifying look on her face. I'm sure it's about to get yet another earful. She cast a glance at the goblin on the floor. Iron ball was embedded in its skull. Blimey, that must have hurt, she muttered. Then she looked back at me. Never used a Morningstar before, have you? Could have just as easily knocked your own head off swinging it around willy-nilly like that. Be more careful next time, alright? I thought she was gonna yell at me like usual, but there's something almost nice about the way she was telling me off. We are so whipped, it's like unreal. It's like, holy. Thanks, she said softly into my ear, and I felt something warm and soft on my cheek. Oh, don't do that to him. He'll be daydreaming about that for hours. I was doing great. I felt like nothing could stop me. Maybe he ain't such a drongo after all. It goes to show any weirdo can make something of themselves so they put their mind to it. His eyes glazed with mischief. I'm assuming that means it went well. Anyway, let's save. You hear her talk about drongos again. I think I need to go right. I think we go up the stairs. Because I think that's where the Chamber of Death was. Yeah, this is definitely the Chamber of Death. Alright, let's go inside. We'll save again in case I need to make another progress thing. But we surprisingly have not gotten too many encounters, which is good. I'd like to keep it full health if we can. Well, this place is just as creepy as I remember. Lovely, grumbled Kid. He was looking at the stains on the wall. The ceiling had been pulled back up. There's no reason to believe it might not come grinding down again at any moment. Bearing in mind what Riddell had told us the room was called, it definitely wasn't somewhere he wanted to linger. Quickly, hissed Majil before crouching down and examining the ground for clues. And then I crouched down too. What were we even looking for, though? What could the old man have left in this room that would help bring him back to reality? Flagstones of the floor were smeared with a black gooey substance which gave off an odd rotten aroma. I shook my head, trying to drive an uncomfortable thought from my mind. It saw me and clearly wasn't doing much better herself. Slowly turned, positioning herself so she's facing away from the stains on the wall. There's no point in thinking like that. I just had to try, but then... The door slammed shut and the gears ground into life. Here we bloody go again! We have to stop it. If we don't deal with this trap, we'll never find what we're looking for. Oh no, chat. It's coming towards us. We better do something. The ceiling sank lower and lower. We ducked our heads, desperately trying to avoid the blaze that jutted out from the bottom. It looked at me and screamed, "The sword! Use the Einlancer!" What? How do you use the sword? Plunge it into the ceiling, into the ground. I plunged the sword into Kid? What? Why is that an option? There. I drove the sword into the floor with all my might. I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie, it is tempting. But why was that legitimately an option? Just kill her right straight off the bat. That would be something. Shock ran through the room. Beams of light scattered from the blade, covering the floor and walls, then racing upwards. The ceiling gave an almighty judder, then stopped. We made it! Sank to the floor helplessly, my heart racing. Hey, what's that? Kid was pointing at part of the wall, where we'd seen the message written in blood. Guess we found what we're looking for. Part of the wall had collapsed, revealing a cavity behind what it looked like a piece of solid stone. Thought I could see something glinting faintly in the darkness. Kid reached in with her fingertips, carefully extracting whatever it was from within. The slender ring with a delicately engraved design that looked like overlapping ferns. The ring was adorned with several small rubies and a pattern that resembled a bunch of grapes. The crest of Acacia. This must be the Acacian signet. She put the ring on her middle finger, where it sat uneasily. It didn't look to be her size. The rubies gave off an eerie glint. Right, let's not spend any more time in here than we have to. Managed to foil the trap and retrieve the Acacian signet. Left the Einlanzer where it stood, and we exited the room. Oh, we just left it behind? Okay. I mean, we're gonna ignore the door. We're already here before. Yeah, continue onwards. Let's go past the terrace. Let's go down the stairs. So we still have not gone into the... So by the way, we've been avoiding a room in the upper floor. So I'm not gonna go there yet. Assuming I don't need to do anything special with it. Let's go all the way back down the way we came. So let's go all the way down. Actually, you know what? I changed my mind. Since I'm already here, I might as well check what it is. If we do need something, I'd rather know now. I gotta say... Corridor to the right. This is the only place we haven't been. Find ourselves in front of some ornate double doors. So if this needs a key, I'd rather know now, actually. Let's check. It gently pushed the heavy doors open and peeked inside. Doesn't look like anybody's in here. Seems to be the main hall of the manor. There's a massive table, beautiful decorations on the walls, and thick columns decorated with sculptures of birds and beasts. Fixed to the wall in the back towards a tremendous pipe organ like a burnished black mountain. Dozens of candles provided a dim, flickering light, sending the corners of the room dancing in and out of shadow. Several enormous portraits lowered down from high on the wall. Were these members of Lynx's family? Busy staring at the painting depicting a young husband and wife. Then I realized their eyes had turned to look right back at me. Okay, they hadn't. Don't worry, this isn't about to turn into some dumb ghost story. It just looked that way because of the way the flickering of the lights reflected against the glossy oil paints. There you go, chat. Obviously, probably. This place gives me the creeps. Get a load of all these ugly mugs. Nothing for us here. Let's look somewhere else. Neither Majil nor I had any objections, so maybe he'll be playing on this organ ominously later. That feels very final bossy. Left the hall and returned to the corridor. Alright. So nothing to do there yet. Let's go back down the stairs. So we'll keep in mind that there's an organ there. There's portraits in case we need to get information about his family. Don't know why we would need it, but it's good to know, I guess. Alright, so let's go to the atrium, because we don't care about anything on the other side. Yep, don't care about this place. We're gonna press onwards. So believe it or not, I think we've explored all the rooms on the map already. So at this point, we just have to figure out the plot. So I'm gonna save before we do anything in the dungeon. But it feels like we're kind of near the end, to be honest with you. We just have to find the Frozen Flame. So I imagine once we free him, maybe we'll have a cutscene in the hall at some point. Or maybe we'll learn something about the hall. We could do something with it. This place again. I hope this is the last time we'd have to come here. Okay, so let's go and talk to the prisoner now that we have the Acadian signet. Having retrieved the... Oh, excuse me. Acacian, not Acadian. Having retrieved the Acacian signet, we returned to the old man's cell. As soon as we got there, Majil took a step forward and grabbed onto the bars. They creaked and groaned as he heaved at them. Gritting his teeth as he summoned every ounce of his might. Slowly, they bowed apart. Stepped into the cell through the gap, and Kid and I followed. The old man was exactly as we had left him, staring at his face, muttering meaningless words. Kid walked over to him and crouched down. She grabbed him by the collar and yelled at him, "Wakey, wakey, granddad! We got a few questions for you. Here, get an eyeful of this. Ring any bells, He'd waved the Acacian signet in his face, shaking him roughly all the while. The old man's head lolled as he limply allowed himself to be manhandled. I asked Majil to make kids stop, which is really lame. I spec between them and tried to stop her. I guess we could try to do something. We could try to be a protagonist. I tried to get between Kid and the old man. She glared at me. You're in the way, filler. We're here for answers, remember? But really want to help him. You can't chicken out now. But look at him. There's no helping him anymore, surely. This all ended for him long ago. Why not be so certain? This is not over. It still means something. He's simply decided to pretend not to see it. Yeah, but it's not over, you say. Struck by the man's sudden interruption, we all turned to look at him. In a glimmer of light, it returned to his once vacant eyes. That's right. None of this is over until we make Lynx pay. Let's begin to cloud once more. So my former allies have finally come for me. I am to blame. It is because of my indiscretion that the frozen flame was stolen. That all of the Acacian dragoons, only I remain here in the manor. But now all is well, for you have returned. O Melgid, Zaranda, where have you been all this time? Did you all return to Lake Stoic? Never mind all that, Granddad. Where's the frozen flame? Give us a clue, anything. Come on, out with it. Couldn't decide if Kid sounded more annoyed or more desperate. The frozen flame. The old man looked momentarily confused. Then a wan smile crossed his face? What? A wan smile. Is that a dog ball on the ground? I think so. I think so. I don't think I've ever seen that used in a sentence before. I'm gonna double check the definition to make sure I understand its meaning. Pale and giving the impression of illness or exhaustion. I've heard of like wax and wane. I don't usually think of wan by itself, which is interesting. My word, Lady Riddell, it's been far too long since I've had the pleasure. Why, you only need to turn the third candlestick from the left as you enter the main hall. That will open the underground vault, as you know. Yeah, we never ended up using the right thrice whatever that I have down in the corner. Kid wrapped her arms around the old man and held him tight. Then in a trembling voice she whispered, I'm sorry. I promise we'll get it back. Ah! The man recoiled in horror and then began to sob once more. I am to blame. It's all my fault. Forgive me, forgive me. Look, if you want to get out of here, now's your chance. But it was no use. He's too busy cowering and wailing to hear me. We're done here, filler. We can't help him. There's things we need to be doing. Thank you, I whispered to the old man before following Kid and Majil out of the dungeon. There we go. Making some progress. So we can't have that much left. Alright, so we'll do one more save. So we have... Let's go back to the atrium. There's probably nothing else we could do here. Oh, we got another fight. And I'll do the same things again. Kind of annoying we got another encounter. I think we are legitimately near the end of the game. I heard it was not a very long game. Like, you could complete it in under 4 hours kind of thing. So I think we're just pretty much on our way to the secret passageway, and then we're good. Oh, I got hit. Oh, I died in one hit? Seriously? Wasn't I at full health? Well, I guess we got our game over. I legit just died in one hit. That's crazy. That is unlucky. Good thing we saved. That was kind of ridiculous, I'm not gonna lie. I like how we took like 3 hits before and we're fine. Then we healed twice and we legit got 1 shot. Cool, I guess. I feel less bad for quote-unquote save scumming. Can I just say to retreat now instead of doing this fight? She didn't seem happy with that. So she seemed pretty unhappy with that. So that feels kind of unfortunate. So this encounter seems to be in my way no matter what I do here. Alright, I guess I'm gonna drive it into its chest. I'm gonna ask Kid for help here. Help your bloody self. This impatient brush off was all I got for my trouble. Suddenly I was flung to the side. I crashed on the wall, impact knocking the wind out of me, and then before I could react, I think it smashed on my side. Then flying, slamming into the ground and rolling from the impact. Off, leaving a spatter of blood on the floor. With a roar, the goblin started running from me. No, I can't move, I panicked. It really hit me hard enough to paralyze me. Kid! I tried to scream her name, and all I could manage was a croak. I was busy watching my life flash before my eyes, when a nimble finger crashed down on top of the goblin's head out of nowhere. Shunk Kashuk. 2 quick stabs put out the beast's eyes, and the figure landed, grabbed me, and rolled me nimbly to one side. Blinded goblin kept running, right past us and away down the corridor. But it hadn't gotten far before a fireball rushed by me and engulfed it in a blazing flame. This kid who'd saved me. She glared at me with a harsh look in her eyes. Bonk. Then she thumped me on the head. What have I told you about running away all the time, filler? I haven't told you about making other people do your dirty work for you. That's why you gotta get too bloody scared to do any of the fighting for yourself. Don't expect anyone to look out for you except yourself. Run away, you're as good as leaving yourself for dead. You got that? I nodded feebly. Wait a second. What's that? There's a leather bag on the ground, containing a sparkling gem. Now we're talking. Kid's face lit up with joy. Nice find, filler. What a beaut. It stashed it away, leaving me to settle for the compliment. Phew. Taking a few knocks, but I was alright. Scrapers 2 wouldn't stop me. Like how he says a scraper 2 won't stop him. We legit got 1 shot. I'm pretty sure we legit died instantly. Like, I was not injured according to the game logic when I got attacked by that other thing. Not bad, filler. Not bad at all. Didn't know you had it in you. Mischievous glint in Kid's eyes, she roared at me with a few rare words of praise. Okay, we still seem to be at a mostly good. I'll save again in case that matters. Okay, I'd like to actually get to the atrium this time. Uh-huh. Okay, can we do anything in Lynx's room before we go up the stairs? Because we basically did so little there. I'm curious if we could also just use it to talk to people. Got attacked again. That's so unlucky. We're already seeing repeat encounters. It's a skeleton, chat. I'm gonna assess the situation. So the same thing happened as before. So we're gonna attack again, because that worked last time. So at least with the random encounter, we figured this one out. So we know how to do this one without getting hit. And maybe this will make her like us more. Yeah, she's gonna tell him to snap out of it, yada yada. Okay, so I think the comment here is to talk about her health. Like, that taking a few knocks but is alright is just letting me know that I'm still slightly injured. The few words of praise, I think, means that we might be at, like, max relationship with her. Maybe that's what that means. Because she is addressing us differently. Continue on our way. So does anything happen if we go into Lynx's room now? Otherwise, we'll continue upwards. This is where you've been hiding, Lynx, yelled Kid as she barged into the room. What? Is Lynx here? I followed after her, panicking. Looked around to see no one else but us. Where is he? He was standing there, clearly not in any danger at all. It's a joke, idiot. Oh. All the strength drained from my body. Thought it was serious, did you? Chuckled Kid. Trying not to laugh too hard. I bet you wish you were living the easy life rather than trespassing around after me, eh? Your face. I ignored her walk over the mirror draped with the red silk cloth. Can we ask the mirror anything before we go further? Hi there, sorry about all the noise. The statue of Venus in the mirror giggled back at me. That's quite all right, Filler. What is your desire? Nothing much, just thought I'd check up on you since I was here. You mustn't say such things. Your friends will become envious, she giggled mischievously. You what? Said Kid, her voice completely flat. And why would I be envious? Please, there's no need to get upset. I have a gift for you. Oh yeah? Yes. Well, one might call it that. You see, I thought you might be interested to see what it is like inside the mirror. Wait, so you're inviting us to the realm of mirrors? Kid's interest was suddenly piqued. Oh. This is not going in a direction that I thought it would. I guess we'll save. It won't take up much of your time. Come, Kid, step inside. The surface of the mirror rippled like water. It reached out her hand toward the glass, then hesitated. She deliberated for a moment before finally pulling it back. You go first, Filler. You're her favorite. Are you sure? It nodded, and filled with excitement, I pressed my hands to the mirror. Her wrist was cool like water on my fingertips. No, Filler, you mustn't. She's trying to lure us to her death. Suddenly, cracks formed in the glass. I gasped. What's happening? The statue in the mirror was weeping. I wish you weren't so trusting. You forget that I serve Lynx. What? I blurted out. I meant to trap you and your friends. The cracks in the mirror grew bigger, splintering off into more and more smaller cracks. And that is not all. I first saw your coming long ago, and warned Lynx of it. But why? You were in prison here by Lynx, weren't you? Sighed Majil. The statue of Venus nodded mournfully. He sealed the path to mirrors beyond, preventing me from leaving the manor. Were someone to shatter all the mirrors within the manor's walls, I would be doomed. I should vanish, separated from my siblings forever. Eventually, the statue raised its head, but I cannot stand to be at his mercy anymore. The cracks deepened further, and shards of glass began to fall to the floor. Oh, did we just get a side character killed? Because I got curious. Right, chat? I'm glad that our journey into the mansion has led to basically somebody going insane. We potentially get the daughter in trouble, and we straight up kill one of the three people that helped us. Stop! I can't let you do this! I yelled, grabbing the mirror frame with both hands. This is what I want. Lynx will not suffer me to live after betraying him, said the image in the mirror, looking at me. But why are you trying to help us? Will that be your final question, Filler? Something in the voice felt like the trace of a smile. Very well. The truth is, But just then, the mirror finally split from top to bottom. The image's lips moved gently, but no words came. I tried to scream, but I could do little more than whimper. I took a shard of glass from the floor and gripped it tightly in my hand. Filler? Behind me, Kid was softly calling my name. Gave a slight nod and slowly turned around. Let's go. We left the room. I turned to look back at one last time, eyes coming to the rest on the remains of the mirror. I'd never be able to hear her voice again. Turned again and left the room. Cool, we got somebody killed. We did it! Yay! We're the heroes! Anyway, let's continue on our way. We need to get back to the stairs. Let's go ahead and do that. I think I kind of know where to go, at least. It's a pretty simple map. Just as long as we don't get, like, attacked a million more times, I think we'll be fine. Yeah, so we could just immediately go to the main hall, so I'm going to save before we do that, because this feels very endgamey. Found ourselves in front of where any double doors. Now we know the secret. Let's go inside. And push the heavy door open as quietly as she could. Looks like the coast is clear. Stepped into the main hall. Okay, so we already know about the candles. The great hall was filled with a heavy silence. A silence unbroken save for the ticking of a large clock that slowly counted the passage of time, as if waiting for something. Several portraits glared down at us with cold eyes. We moved through the feeble glow of the candles. Third candlestick from the left, whispered Kid. 1, 2, 3. There. She reached out towards it. Held my breath as I watched. Say your prayers, Lynx. We're coming for you. Kid turned the candlestick. Room trembled with a sudden rhythmic rumbling sound, as if a massive gear was turning. What's that? For a moment, I felt a strange sensation, as if I was floating. Do you feel that? I started to stagger. The entire room seemed to be moving downwards, came the reply from Majil. Couldn't quite believe it, but I also couldn't deny the feeling of the downward motion. Main hall was sinking into the earth. Then another rumble. The room's descent rapidly accelerated. Cold sweat dripped from my back. My heart filled with a mixture of fear and anticipation. What was waiting for us down there? The frozen flame. Surprised at the end of this little adventure. But was that... what was it really? Would it live... would it live up to our expectations? I tightened my fists, which were slick with sweat. I needed to hydrate there. That was a lot of dialogue. What were Kid and Majil thinking? The room remained veiled in silence. As if in response to my thoughts, a quiet voice came from next to me. Sometimes It was Kid. I looked over to her, standing stiffly, staring forward with her hands clenched into fists. Sometimes I feel like I'm stuck in a losing battle. Fight I'll never win, no matter what I do. The side of her I never witnessed before. And from this angle, I could see fear and doubt flickering across her face. Felt a tender sting in my heart. What are you fighting? We'll win, I promise. We'll go the generic we'll win, I promise. There's nothing to worry about. We'll win in the end, I promise. Drongo, she gave a gentle smile. Can't promise anything in this world, filler. There are no guarantees. But thanks anyway. She grinned again, seeming a little embarrassed, then looked me straight in the eye. And I had the strangest sensation. This wasn't Kid. Or not the only kid anyway. Wait, what? What do you mean not the only kid anyway? Wait, what does that mean? Right, chat? Wait, what? No, elaborate. No, go back. Oh, Minus X was also Star Destiny. Thank you, Bludana. Overwhelmed by the inexplicable oddness of the idea. She noticed immediately, of course. Our little moment was over. The kid I knew was back in our room. Trying to catch flies, mate? Oh, sorry. Just for a moment there, it felt like you were somewhere else. What are you on about? Kid gave me a confused look, tilting her head. It must be because we're drawing near to the frozen flame. Majil's voice, as soft as ever, slipped unbidden from the shadows. What the heck are you two on about? Kid turned towards him in another puzzled frown. Or with another puzzled frown. There was another self within you, struggling against the pull of the abyss. But what had she been talking about? A crash split the silence as if we collided with something. Screech! A loud metallic scraping filled the air. The room rocked and finally came to a halt. Lots of ... Looks like it's the end of the line. All change. The swelling grandeur of the organ suddenly filled the air. No one so much as touched it, yet the keys and the pedals were moving by themselves. I knew it was going to play at some point, it was inevitable. The melody it played was both unsettling and sad. Funeral tune, is it? Way to greet your guests. It took a long stride forward, then turned to face me and Majil. Come on, let's go. Majil and I gently nodded our assent. Kid grinned, then turned back to the door. I'm coming for you, Lynx. This is the end for you. And with that, she led us from the hall. We continued down a long, dark corridor, the walls slick with condensation. The air was thick and heavy, as though ripe with the stench of death. We were really getting close to Lynx's hidden vault at last. Was there any turning back now, for any of us? There's something strange about Kid that night. Jill didn't seem to be his usual self either. To begin with, it was vanishingly rare for him to speak so much, let alone show any kind of emotion. What happened to make them change like that? Unable to take the silence anymore, I decided to speak. I had to ask the question that had been on my mind all this time. Ooh. Okay, chat, I don't know if this matters. Why don't you make a decision, chat? What would you like to see? What is the Frozen Flame, or why do you want the Frozen Flame so badly? So, it seems like we're kind of, instead of talking about time travel, I guess it's hinting that there's kind of like the alternate dimensions. The DS version of the Chrono Trigger game did hint towards that when we got into the bonus content specifically. So maybe that was supposed to tie into this game and the other game, to hint that there's more than like one Magus or whatever. If anybody has a particular question, feel free as I rehydrate. But this feels like we are 100% in the end game at this point. Okay. I don't know if I care about why they want the Frozen Flame so badly, so if chat doesn't have any opinion towards it, I'll ask what the Frozen Flame is. I think we could kind of figure out their motives from there, based off of what it is. Is the Frozen Flame really just a jewel? Of course not. There's only silence in return. And then when it seemed like no one would reply at all, Majil spoke. His low voice echoed in the corridor. It is a sacred stone that cures all ills, heals all wounds, and grants eternal life. Oh. That's kind of important to know. Right, chat? So they could be doing it to save somebody here. Or so some still believe. In truth, it is part of a tremendous rock that fell from the skies long, long ago. Oh no, chat, we're finding Lavos? Uh-oh. That rock was the source of a hitherto unknown power, with which mankind's hidden potential was unlocked. You could say it was humanity's dreams made manifest. Right, chat? The DS version, the bonus boss, as a reminder, was called the Dream Devourer. So this is kind of... So I think maybe the DS bonus was to tie into this. But it is not always good to have one's dreams come true. Many were bewitched by that great power. Some were led astray by it. It even led to a kingdom's ruin. A kingdom once prosperous, and now little more than fragments and dust. Its name lost to history. Okay, this is a very clear reference to the... what was it? 10,000 BC or whatever? For a moment, I thought I heard a hint of pain and sadness in Majil's voice, but maybe it was just my nerves. Wait, how do you know all this, Majil? He ... He said nothing. He only stared at me with piercing dark eyes, and then continued onward in silence. 12,000 BC, thank you, the Magic Kingdom. Exactly, it destroyed Disney, chat. That's all we need to know. For a while, only the sound of footsteps echoed in the corridor. Then Kid gave a doubtful humph. Look, I don't know if all that stuff about the Frozen Flame is true or not. It's neither here nor there to me. She raised a fist. Here to settle the score with Lynx by nicking the thing. That's all I know, and that's all I want to know. What had Lynx seen in the Frozen Flame? Why had it been worth risking so much for? Pushed on down the passageway, each of us alone with our thoughts. Concentrating on my footsteps lessened the burden of my worries somewhat. I felt a renewed vigor, to a degree. Suddenly, Majil stopped in his tracks. Wait, huh? He turned around, puzzled. Just then a powerful light surged across the floor. A ring-shaped sigil appeared. Damn it, a blood circle. Kid and Majil were at least quick enough to try and jump clear. They weren't quite quick enough. The three of us were trapped in the circle of blinding light. Ooh, I can't save. That's kind of annoying. Ooh, spinny circle, chat. Sigil rotated left and right with us at the center, cutting off all routes of escape. Ugh, we're trapped! All of heat and wind blew up around us, and swirling lines and spirals of light assailed us wherever we turned. Don't let the light mesmerize you! Cover your eyes! Shouted Majil, raising a hand over his mask. Turn with the light, not against it. There has to be a way out. What? I barely even understand what's going on. Its elbow brushed against the wall of light surrounding us, sending sparks flying. Be careful. Merely to touch it is more than enough to harm you. Stay well back. Let me turn my body to follow the movements of the ring light, looking for a gap to escape through. Okay, I'm imagining what was it? Right thrice, left twice, right twice is what we need to do. Yeah, let's do I turn right 3 times. 3 steps to the right. There, I see it. That's our way through. Find a gap in the wall of light and carefully walk through it. Kid Majil, this way. Okay, so we're not out of the woods yet. So, fortunately, we got this advice earlier, or else this would have been kind of annoying. 2 steps to the left. There we go. Found the gap. Managed to get through. We're not out of the woods yet. There's a wall of light, and 1 more. Then right twice should be the final thing. That's what I wrote down earlier. There it is. 2 steps to the right. There, I see it. It's our way through. Suddenly, my body felt light, and I staggered 2 or 3 steps forward. We're back in the deserted passageway we had been walking down before the blood circle had appeared. The sigil had vanished from the floor, and everything was silent, as if nothing had ever been amiss. Then I looked up. Looks like we finally made it, boys. Kid strolled up to the door with a wicked grin on her face. The true frozen flame awaits. Majil's eyes gave a glint from behind his mask, like glass catching moonlight in the darkness of night. Let's go! Kid reached for the handle. So this is the place, huh? Kid narrowed her eyes, straining to see our surroundings in the darkness. A vast pitch-black expanse surrounded us, whichever way we looked, as if we had entered an impossibly vast cave. We're in a place forgotten by time, unknown to the world, hidden deep within the bowels of the night. Gentle crimson light hovered in the darkness. The frozen flame. Oh right, now it's ours! The light of the flame ebbed and waned gently, as if responding to Kid's voice. What the heck is this place? There's mounds of bloody rubble everywhere. Jill took a step forward into the room and said in a whisper that was almost a groan. No, it can't be. Ah, but it is! The ruins of the lost kingdom of mages. The voice drifted down through the darkness from above. Kid looked up in shock. Lynx, I'll kick your flea-bitten arse so hard you'll kiss the moon. Kid pulled her knife from her belt and threw it as hard as she could. Fell to the floor with a clang, as if knocked out of the air by some unseen hand. Still the same impetuous child as ever, I see. That's no way to greet an old friend. Smarmy jerk, Kid gritted her teeth with rage. And you, Shadow Dweller, well, none of your tricks this time. You must think of me a fool if you believe I'll fall for that again. I'm guessing he's the one that saved her before. Majil had been quietly slipping into the darkness that surrounded us, stopped dead in his tracks. So this was the infamous Lynx. There we go. The lord of this deadly manor. The man who had murdered the closest thing kin to the family, who had assassinated General Viper, eradicated the Order of the Acacia Dragoons. Pleasure as always, my dear kid. I must say, you followed the trail of breadcrumbs I laid for you admirably closely, my greedy little sneak thief. What the bloody? She stepped forward, bristling. Lynx narrowed his eyes, narrowed his eyes as his lips twisted into a snarl. You know what I want, kid. Give me the stone you carry. The stone? Did Kid have some kind of jewel I didn't know about? Don't know what you're on about, mate. She just managed to recover her composure, narrowing her eyes scornfully as her old foe. Or at her old foe. So I'm assuming she might have the pendant that Scala had. Maybe that's what it's hinting at, the stone. Spare me the act, child. I know that you have it. I know she gave it to you. Yeah, it could be Scala's pendant. Oh, never mind, time egg. Different item. Hand over the time egg now. I'd like a 50-50. There were like 2 things it could be. The what? Whatever it was, I never heard of it. You're dreaming if you think I'll give it to the likes of you, Kid shot back. It's all I have left of her. I'll never let go of it. Not for anyone, and definitely not for you. Tell you what's gonna happen, you jerk. First I'm gonna take the frozen flame, then I'm gonna ram it down your throat. Incorrigible young fool. I was hoping this might be a civilized exchange. Alas, it seems my words will only fall on deaf ears. You're determined to repeat your past errors. Lynx moved his hand to the grip of the ornate golden saber that hung from his belt. Last time I showed you mercy, let you leave with your life. That was a mistake. One which I mean to correct. Filler, Majil, stay back. It took a step forward, glaring at Lynx, her gaze unflinching. This ends here and now. You'll pay for what you've done. You'll pay for what you did to Luca. Okay. So I'm guessing the mysterious child that was in the ending of the DS version is confirmed to be Kid. So she did come with a stone, I think. Remember, she had a blue stone in that anime cutscene that was added. So I'm guessing this is tying it all together. So that's confirmation from that earlier. The scream, Kid leapt into the air like a bird taking flight. Kid lashed out of a scything kick aimed right at the side of Lynx's head. There's no contact. Where Link had been mere moments before, now there was only empty space. Kid landed and immediately launched herself back into the air, putting the full force of her momentum into another kick. Also, by the way, chat, I also cannot save the game. So I'm hoping this is not a life or death fight that we're coming into. Otherwise, this is a lot of cutscenes. I haven't been able to save since the piano. I'll put it that way. It's been a while. This time, Lynx leaned back, letting Kid's foot swing past only a hair's breadth from his nose. Then it was Lynx's turn. He lashed out with his saber, carving an arc through the air in front of him. Kid was ready for him, however. He had already jumped back to a safe distance. The two glared at each other from mere footsteps apart. At least you had the decency to prepare a little better than last time, Lynx purred. A line appeared on Kid's cheek, slowly coalescing into a drop of blood. Kid! In a flash, she launched herself into yet another attack. Lynx dodged to the side and made to strike her with the hilt of his saber. Kid moved awkwardly to avoid the attack, losing her footing. Then Lynx was on her like a bird of prey before she could fully recover. There was a gasp and a cough as Lynx drove his knee into the pit of her stomach. Kid collapsed. Teddy streamed a red drip from her lips. Will that be all, girl? Lynx gave Kid a merciless kick to the side, sending her flying. Landed on a pile of rubble, her body rolling until she hit a large stone pillar. And there she lay, lifelessly still. Kid? Kid! I screamed her name as I charged towards Lynx. Jill was there already. Flew through the darkness, parted the shadows before crashing down on Lynx like a bolt from the blue. Lynx jumped back, and countless threads of light flew from his fingertips towards Majil. With a drowning hum, the thread of light surrounded Majil, crossing over one another. Spread to form a lattice of light that gave off a blinding glare, and trapped Majil where he stood. What is this? Majil staggered and groaned, attempting to shield his eyes with his hands. It is a simple enough spell, my shadowy friend, for those inclined to learn it, one which sadly for you leaves no darkness in which to hide. Lynx leered at Majil with a venomous grin. Been quite the thorn in my side. I'll let you live long enough to regret it. Jill struggled and groaned. I had to do something. Kid and Majil needed me. Well, what was I going to do? Let's go to Kid. Oh, I ran to Majil by accident because it auto-advanced. I hate that automatically selects a choice. I actually wanted to go to Kid. I was literally had enough time to read it and it auto-selected. That sucked. Lynx had started making his way over to Kid while I was paralyzed with indecision. What's the matter, Kid? Only so bold a moment ago. Aren't you going to keep me entertained? Lynx looked down his nose at Kid's broken body. Now do you want to give me the time egg? We could still be civilized about this. I am of course a gentleman, and it pains me to have to seize a fair maiden's valuables by force. Even if the fair maiden in question is in fact a filthy street rat. Press his foot into Kid's head. Hear her voice, faint and breathless. It's Lucas Stone, not yours. I'll never give it to anyone. And no way I'll give it to the likes of you. Couldn't let him get any closer to her. But what was I gonna do? Let's run to Kid. Kid! I ran over to where she laid. She's flat out. She collapsed where she had fallen. Blood still ran from her mouth. Kid, say something! Crouched down next to her, glancing at her face in a panic. She groaned. She began to stir, face twisted with pain. Filler. It's okay, Kid, I'm here. How touching. I'd be more concerned about my own well-being if I were you. The voice came from behind me. As if ice water had been poured down my neck. Jumped to my feet and turned around. Lynx was looking down at me with a cold, emotionless stare. Any friend of Kid's is certainly no friend of mine. Forgive me, but I cannot permit you to leave this place alive. Before I realized it, his hand had shot out towards me. Claw-like fingers clamped around my throat. I couldn't breathe. Tightening his grip, Lynx lifted me bodily? Oh, lifted me bodily until my feet were dangling in the air. I feel his talons mercilessly digging deeper and deeper into my neck. I feel like with his name being called Lynx, calling his claws talons feels like an animal metaphor mixed up to me. They probably should have said claws, to be honest. Panic filled my mind. Look, Kid. See your friend. See him suffer. This is your doing. This is your hand around his neck. His breathing was ragged and blood still dripping from her lips. Opening an eye, she groggily raised her head. She couldn't get up. She didn't have the strength. Filler, give me the time egg. Even know what it is? I suspect not. Think of it as a concentrated pocket of space. With the frozen flame and the time egg in hand, one can bend the fabric of space and time and rewrite the past. There are errors that I mean to correct. Mistakes in the past that must be set right. Lynx's narrow and motionless eyes returned to my face. How long before he perishes, I wonder? I struggled to breathe, but could only make choking sounds. It screamed my name. Decide. Will you watch the boy die or relent? Does his life mean nothing to you? I can't. She balled her hands into fists and dropped her gaze. My vision started to fade. Then I heard her voice as she struggled to speak through the pain. I'm sorry, Filler, but I swore. I'd sacrifice anything to stop Lynx. I'm gonna say don't worry about me. Don't worry. Don't worry about me. It's all I could do to force the words out past Lynx's icy grip. I was starting to black out. Was this really how it was going to end? For crying out loud, fine, you win. Here, have your damn rock. Lynx's grip on my throat loosened. Groaning with pain, Kid reached a shaky hand into her shirt. I knew you would come around in the end. Lynx threw my body to the ground, then walked towards her. Just shut up and take it, you monster. It's all you deserve. All the strength she could muster, Kid lashed out at Lynx with her right hand. Gah! He leapt back in a desperate attempt to evade the blow. But it was too late. Kid's nails, sharp as claws, raked mercilessly into his face. Lynx roared with pain. He staggered, clutching his left eye. Blood oozed through the gaps in his fingers. You wretched little chit of a girl! Lynx stood awkwardly, still clutching the wound on his face. Fingers of his free hand arched into furious talons as he walked back towards Kid, who lay on the ground. I will kill you all! He kicked her hard, concentrating all of his wrath and venom into the blow. Kid gasped as all the wind was knocked out of her, and more blood from her mouth. Yet more blood ran from her mouth as her body rolled across the floor. Kid! I yelled hoarsely, clutching my burning throat with one hand. Lynx turned his head slowly to look at me, one eye fixing on me coldly as it came into view. He took a step towards me. Yes, perhaps it would be best to start with you. My dear Kid, rest assured that your friend's death will be a most elaborate and painful one. You will know what it means to truly suffer, boy. Put you through the same suffering as I did that Luca woman. Kid's body stirred with shock and horror. Eyes slowly opened, fixing on Lynx. They were wild eyes, stained with the blood that poured from her brow. Gritting her teeth, she staggered to her feet. Lynx! Lynx! Then an explosion of light burst forth from the frozen flame. The light began to form somewhere near Kid's chest, resonating with the light from the frozen flame. Twin lights entwined, twirling slowly upwards. As it rose, the golden spiral spread. No, this cannot be! Lynx stood motionless, transfixed by the spectacle. Was this the Time Egg's power? It screamed as a raging blaze of light engulfed her. I'll never let you do it again! I'll never let you steal from me again! Bathed in the glow, her body shook. Blood-red tears dripped from her eyes as they took on a distant look. Then she collapsed to the ground as if all the life had gone out of her. Heard a voice. It's quiet and still like the evening. It has come to pass. It is retracing her lost memories back through time. Back to the Lost Kingdom. It was through her power that the kingdom fell. That it was swallowed in the all-encompassing vortex of time. In her grief, she wished to disappear. Her past, her future. She wanted it all to sink into the void. To be lost in the seething whirl of time. She despised what she had done. She closed herself off from all she saw and heard and cursed her very existence. Is this implying that Kid is Shala from Chrono Trigger? Question mark? I mean, she does have the pendant, which would kind of make sense. So I'm a little confused. I guess we'll see where it goes. The stone wished for her to live. The hands of her clock were rewound. Her memories unraveled. The stone gave her a chance to begin again. Stone had both the power and the will to bring this all about. Sinking through the sea of time, she drifted here. A mere babe, her memories a blank slate. Time Egg shattered, its fragments raining down on the world, becoming shards of sorrow and anguish. The world around us drifted into pieces. It swallowed us, engulfed us. We were consumed, locked into the void. And then, a girl's scream echoed in the darkness. That voice. Was that Kid? It sounded just like... No, this is all wrong. The black vortex, it surrounds us. No, stop! I think we broke the world a little bit. Where am I? I love the T-Rex coming in. Yeah, nom 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 the planet T-Rex, I believe in you. I've lost everything, and now I can but wonder. The world drifts and time is a blur. There's only an endless, unknowable sea. This is where time begins and ends. This is where all life finds peace. I see myself as a baby, crying next to my mother, an exhausted yet proud look upon her face. I see myself aged and wizened, waiting to succumb to death's embrace with a smile. I see countless incarnations of myself, walking time's intricate corridors as ghosts. This is where countless worlds overlap, and infinite dreams play out. If only I could rest here for eternity. If only I could free myself of all my burdens and sleep here, in the sea of dreams. But I hear it calling me. I hear the song. Kid, please. Can you hear me? Kid? Kid, say something. Kid, you've got to stay with me. There's Earth, I guess. Who's that? Who's calling me? Uh-oh, double T-Rex. Filler? Where am I? Kid? Kid, you're awake. I heard a song. It was beautiful. It was that song that Luca loved. Kid closed her eyes and her face glowed with a warm smile. I'll never forget that song. Makes me want to cry whenever I hear it. I'm just glad you're back. Felt like I was losing you. Like you're going somewhere far, far away. Before I knew it, I was humming the song for you. I don't know if I ever mentioned it, but I wrote it when I first started out as a musician. I knew you liked it, so I... Kid gave a gentle nod. It was you. You were the one that called me back. That was you calling my name. Thanks, Filler. It's okay now. It's okay now. I'm back. Suddenly she gasped with pain. Lynx's saber plunged deep into her right shoulder. Towering over us was Lynx himself. I told you, kid. I told you I would kill you. You had no strength left to fight. Let's try to protect her. Threw myself over Kid's inert form. I had to protect her. Huh. You wish needlessly to your grave, boy. Lynx glared coldly at me with his remaining eye. Alas, your time has come. Raised his saber, preparing to strike. Enough. Stunned, we looked towards the intruder. You! There stood an old crone, her wizened features obscured by a heavy hood. How'd she made it all the way down here? Lady Vera, what have we done to bring Poor's Magister General running, I wonder, he growled. It's been far too long, Lynx. A pity that I seem not to have caught you at your best. Crone met Lynx's mad stare head on. I will take the frozen flame. After all, it seems you two have been quite unable to decide which of you should have it. She raised a hand and armed soldiers poured into the room. Jill lifted Kid to her feet. This seems like a good time to leave. Lynx snarled. You'll regret this, witch! Kicked off from the floor and his body rose into the air. Then he turned his venomous glare on us. And you, kid, you'll pay for this with your life soon enough. You'll never be safe from me. With that, he disappeared like a puff of smoke. Crone lingered for a moment, her eyes resting on us. Kid, if you wish to try and steal the frozen flame again, welcome to try any time you please. We'll be waiting. But you all have to get out of here alive first. Soldiers threw their weapons and fell upon us. Darkness, heed my call! Kid slumped against him. Majil spread his arms. Drew a sigil in the air. Hurry, Filler, this way! Grabbed onto him, we plunged into blackness. I guess we survived? Question mark. Thanks to Majil's magic, we managed to escape the manor alive. The lights of torches dotted the forest. You can hear soldiers calling to one another. Stopped briefly in the darkness of the woods, and Kid leaned heavily on a tree, desperately trying to quiet her ragged breathing. With the terrible wound she'd suffered, it seemed to be taking its toll. Are you okay, kid? Yeah, don't worry about me, mate. We're surrounded. Won't be long before they find us, said Majil, his eyes cautiously scanning the area. Kid raised her head to look at me. It's me and Majil they want. Get out of here, Filler. It's us they want, not you. What are you saying? I'm not leaving you here. Look at you, you could barely stand. Not that I can't handle him. Besides, got Majil with me. If they catch us... if they catch you with us, they won't go easy on you. But... remembered everything. Remembered another me. A me from long, long time ago. Slowly Kid averted her gaze, looking at the night sky. I have to go. Stars reflected in her eyes. Then she looked like nothing more than an ordinary young woman with a sad, distant expression on her face. Kid? Don't worry, Filler, I'm okay. We'll meet again. Kid smiled. We'll meet again. Somewhere, someday. Sometime. Promise. Her eyes closed gently. I didn't manage to nick the frozen flame in the end. And I lost the time egg too. The only thing I had left of Lucas. But it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. There's something inside me that shines brighter than any stupid jewel. The most important thing in the world. She opened her eyes again and fixed them on me. I'd have lost myself in their depths forever. Jeez, whatever. No one can take it from me. Not as long as I live. Nothing else in the world I wanted but this. I doubted I'd ever want anything again. Only wanted this moment. All the clocks in the world could have stopped right then and there for all I cared. That was exactly what I wished for as I gazed at her. Goodbye, Filler. And thanks. Looked down and turned away and disappeared into the darkness of the night. Would I ever see her again? Kid! Don't follow me, Filler. Please. Just don't. I strained to try and catch a glimpse of her as the last traces of her shadow vanished. Vanished towards a place I might never reach again. No, Kid! Leapt to my feet, meaning to chase after her, but a shadow soon blocked my path. Vigil? Not saying a word, he slowly shook his head. Behind the mask, I saw a sadness in his eyes. Then the shadow withdrew and melted into the darkness. Vigil? Kid? Wait! Don't leave me! I screamed into the night, but there was no reply. The black silence swallowed my cries. Kid! Kid. I guess we're back in the present when we're thinking about it. So this time we didn't die in the telling of our story. So I'm guessing that's the end of the game? Question mark? Maybe some credits? Yeah. And so another tale ends. Perhaps one day I'll see Kid Magil and Riddle again. One day. Somewhere, at another time, in another world. Perhaps none of us will even realize it. But that's a story for another day. For now, I must put down my pen. I closed my grandfather's diary. And then from downstairs, I heard my mother calling. Did you hear me? Your friend's here. Nimble footsteps charged up the stairs. The door flew open. And tumbled a young girl. A girl who seemed somehow familiar. Hey, Filler, it's a beautiful day for adventuring. Found a rundown manor off in the woods to the north. You want to go exploring? Come on, put the book down and let's get out of here. Well, Chad, I believe we did it, as we're now seeing what feels like an end credit montage. Oh yeah, there we go, full Japanese. GG, I guess. So I'm gonna gather some thoughts, and then we'll give our final thoughts. So plus side, glad we finished it in one session. We did it. I only died once. I straight up died at full health, I'm pretty sure. It was kind of rude. So I guess the theme that we basically got out of this game is that there are not only different times to go in, but other realities. So I guess that's a theme that the Kid character is going through this in multiple different universes. Maybe we'll keep that in mind as we think about Chrono Cross in the future. I like that we basically went in there and just messed everything up possible. And in fact, we got people killed. Like, aside from the people we literally murdered. So it was kind of like, yeah, we did something we shouldn't have. We didn't get the thing we came for. We killed the spirit in the mirror. And then we lost one of the things precious to us. It feels like we just made a lot of poor life choices to come into that moment. I'm not sure I fully understood the whole song thing. Like, we were a musician. Did we get taught that song by Luca? I mean, it said we came up with the song, but then, how long ago? Like, I thought we didn't know her before. That's why I'm a little confused by, like, the timeline. Because I thought we weren't there when the house burned down. Yet if Lucas sang the song, that would imply that she knew it for a while. But yet we said we made the song, which made me confused. That we knew she liked it. Maybe she hums the song to us or something. So I'm assuming basically Majil was Magus. That seemed fairly straightforward, especially when they kept calling him Mag. He did use the different elements. He did use darkness a lot. That is his core element. Our character is otherwise a pretty terrible character. When we weren't basically hitting on her, we're just kind of cowardly and awful. So let's hope if we play any other versions of said character, it will hopefully go a little better than this. I will say overall, I don't know why they thought this was was this the follow-up that people really wanted to Chrono Trigger? Like, that's the open question I'm asking myself. Welcome, Shino. Just but why though? I'm not really sure what... Yeah, I'm not playing the Affinia event. Okay, so I'm assuming I just completed the normal ending, which is fine. I don't really want to. That's easy. Okay, so we got an ending. That's that. Congratulations. Oh no, we're going back to the intro. Let's go ahead and pop out. I know, Shino, I don't care. We have time reserved for it later in the week. We're doing other things. Don't care. So from that standpoint, let's put on some music. So let's go and jump to Let's Chat. Is there anything I want to add in particular for the game itself? I don't know. I think most of it I can save for final thoughts. I guess I will say, it looks like there's a lot of different endings. I don't think I super really want to go through and get every possible ending. We did get a game over, so that's fun. I'm tempted to go back and crunch ourselves in the death room. But other than that, not a very long game. So most of the guesses I did were pretty close, I think, to what we needed to do. I stumbled across some optional stuff, which was nice. I was definitely worried going to, because I saw something labeled as Lynx's Quarters was going to result in, a battle, but then that's not where it ended up being. So I'm glad that even with the map, I still had some things I didn't see coming, which was nice. But otherwise, yeah. I would say from the standpoint, it's not, a super difficult game to play, so even if I didn't have a map, it actually wasn't as bad as I was thinking it would be. Because I was worried I would have to remember how to go, to and from, and there were many turns, because that is a classic text adventure issue. So from that standpoint, I think that went fun. So otherwise, chat, I don't really have anything I really want to add here. I think most of it is going to be saved for the final thoughts. So with that, chat, let's go ahead and say goodbye to YouTube. If you did watch to this point in the video or the VOD, I'd just like to say thank you for watching, and I guess we'll continue onwards with the review.